Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the Jets await a decision from quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he's provided them with a wish list of free agents he'd like them to target and acquire. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, among those on that list, 3 Green Bay free agents, receivers Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard, and tight end Mercedes Lewis, and free agent receiver Odell Beckham Jr. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Jets are actively working to reach an agreement with Lazard. Rodgers has said he'll make a decision on his future soon, likely asking either for a Jets trade or retire. He is well aware of the power he yields because New York is desperate for a quarterback, explains ESPN's Louis Riddick.
New York? I got you. I got you right where I want you, and I'm going to get everything I want. Everyone knows you have a small window to maximize your earning power and your influence in this league, man, because it'll move on from you quickly, too. He knows he's in the catbird seat right now.
Also from Schefter, the Saints will not be releasing Michael Thomas as anticipated. They're keeping him. Sides agree on a 1-year, $10 million contract. Giants acquiring star tight end Darren Waller from the Raiders in exchange for a third-round pick.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid! Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muse. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Man, we are jam-packed today. Blake Dean in 15 minutes. Beth Torina next hour. Lee Feinswog will pick Purdue to win the national championship next hour, as is customary. Sean Fazende in hour 3. Ton to do. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The Saints have had a massive defensive exodus. David Onyemata and Shai Tuttle were first. We've also since learned that Marcus Davenport is headed to Minnesota on a 1-year deal. And Caden Ellis, the one that really stings, is headed to Atlanta as well on a 3-year deal. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. While those players are leaving, Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas are returning to the New Orleans Saints. These are 2 players that it was widely assumed were gone. And good reason. The way their contracts were structured, there was no way they were going to be back under the contracts that they had coming into this 2023 cycle. But you rework a few deals, you have a soft market. It's amazing what might happen for each of them. Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network today on Michael Thomas's new deal with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, a significant development for the New Orleans Saints. There's been a lot of discussion over the last several months about Michael Thomas leaving his contract. They tinkered with it before the start of the league year, but I am told they have now reached an agreement for Michael Thomas to come back to New Orleans on a reworked 1-year deal, incentive-laden deal, about $10 million. He can get $15 million at its max. And Michael Thomas, really one of the best receivers in the NFL when healthy. He showed that early on in last year, then unfortunately was injured again. He actually had been recruiting Derek Carr to come be the Saints quarterback, and then Carr signed, and then he was recruiting Michael Thomas to stay on a reworked contract. This one always made sense. It's not a signing, but it feels like as big a one for the Saints.
So I'm really, really torn on this. The Jameis Winston thing, I get it from the Saints' perspective completely. I don't get it from Jameis's perspective. I get it from the Saints' perspective completely. You went into last year with Jameis Winston as your starter, Andy Dalton as your backup. Now, we know what happened. Jameis got hurt after 2 weeks. They rode with Dalton the rest of the way with really poor results. Now, you go into the season with Derek Carr as your starter, and the guy that was going to be your starter a year ago is the backup. So your starter-backup combo is better in 2023 than it was a year ago. And you get Jameis on a very palatable 4-year deal that could, with incentives, get him to $4 million deal. 1 year, $4 million, that could get him to $8 million with incentives, which he's, unless if Derek Carr gets injured, he's not going to hit those incentives. So I get it from the Saints' perspective. It's affordable, and you get a really capable backup. I mean, you have needed for the last 4 years, each of the last 4 years, your starting quarterback has been injured, and you've needed your backup, and actually going back to 2018. So the last 5 seasons, you've seen your backup have to play. So, yes, I love having a competent backup. Makes sense for the Saints. If you're Jameis, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because I presume he wants to be a starter again, and you may hem and haw and say the market has spoken. He would have had an opportunity to at least compete for a job somewhere. Washington just saw Taylor Heineke leave to go to Atlanta. You could look at other spots where they're presumably going to draft a quarterback, if it's Carolina, if it's Houston, if it's Indianapolis, and maybe it's a scenario where they don't want to throw their rookie first-round pick into the fire right away. Look at what happened this year. Marcus Mariota in Atlanta. They had Desmond Ridder. They started Mariota. Eventually, he gave way to Ridder, but at least have an opportunity to play. Listen, I'm thrilled to have this scenario for the Saints where you've got Carr, Winston. It's a better option than most anything else that was going to be realistic. I'm just a little surprised from Jameis's perspective that he's back on a 1-year deal to be a backup again. But again, that's a decision he can make, and maybe it's something where he just likes the city, wants to be here, and likes the organization, and he's willing to accept being a backup because that's what he's going to be here. The Michael Thomas thing for me is a little harder to come to grips with. You got to know when to cut bait. That's true in darn near everything. That's true in business. That's true in investments. That's true in relationships. That's true in NFL free agency. Sometimes you got to know when it's over. And to stop sinking assets and resources into something that's not going to work. If you know it's not going to work, stop investing in it. Like, cut your losses, move on. Saints gave Michael Thomas an enormous contract, and for the first year of it, he was awesome. Literally the best season in NFL history. More receptions than any receiver in the history of the league, was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Awesome. The last 3 years, he's played a total of 10 games. I'm going to say that again slowly. Over the last 3 seasons, Michael Thomas has played a total of 10 games. 7 in 2020. He missed all of 2021 and played in just 3 games a year ago. Now, when we saw Michael Thomas play last year, it was like, oh, that looks familiar. The Atlanta game, 5 catches, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I recognize that guy. Week 2 against Tampa, 6 catches, 65 yards, and a score. It's like, oh, it's Michael Thomas. Yeah, I got it. And then he hurt the toe and never came back. But then there's this. The Saints signed Michael Thomas to a 1-year deal. $10 million. Incentives could get him to $15 million. Which, by the way, was the value of the deal he had. Would have paid him $15 million this year. So it's basically like saying, hey, we're not paying you $15 million, but if you perform up to it, we will. And so I look at the Saints receiver situation and I say, I know Chris Olave is good. Jarvis Landry's likely not back. Who else do you have? I like Rashid Shaheed. Really good rookie year. I think a lot you could build on there. But it's not enough. You didn't tender Marquez Callaway. He could be back, but he could sign somewhere else. Basically, all you know you have is Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. And Shaheed flashed, but can he be a 17-game contributor at receiver? Remains to be seen. Y'all know how I feel about Traquan Smith. And then you got guys like Kirk Merritt and other dudes that are just have been practice squad guys. You hope at some point Keith Kirkwood might break through, but you don't count on them. You need to add competent receivers. Draft, free agency, you're going to have to do both. So where can you go spend $10 million 1 year on a free agent receiver for $10 million and get the potential of a Michael Thomas? So that's where I go, okay, if there's this big sliding scale, and the sliding scale is on one end, you have 2021, where Michael Thomas misses the entire season. And on the other end of the scale, you have 2019 Michael Thomas, who was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. In 2023, where on that sliding scale is Michael Thomas? And I don't know the answer to it. But if you get even 75%, 60% of 2019 Michael Thomas, and you're talking about a guy who potentially could give you 60 catches, man, more than that. 50% of 2019 Michael Thomas is 75 catches. Guy caught 149 balls. If he gives you half of that production, 75 catches for 900 yards, okay. I mean, for $10 million for 1 year, okay. I'd be thrilled with that. That looks a lot like Chris Olave's rookie year when he was your number one. So if Michael Thomas gives you 40% of 2019 Michael Thomas, that's still a worthwhile investment. The problem is, I don't know if he can give you 40% of 2019 Michael Thomas. You got a 3-year sample now that says the guy can't stay healthy. He's not going to be healthy. So did you just throw $10 million into a fire? Maybe. But what were your options? You could have made a longer-term investment in somebody. DJ Chark, for example. I'm talking about realistic options that would have cost about this. Spotrac has DJ Chark's projected market value at 3 years, $28.7 million. Averages out to $9.5 million. I'm not just throwing out a guy because he's an LSU guy. It's the closest market value for a younger receiver. Like, that's what you'd be in the market for. Do you want to commit 3 years to DJ Chark at nearly $30 million? Or 1 year to Michael Thomas to see what happens? If the Saints remain in win-now mode, which clearly they are, and I've told you, I'm not on board with that strategy. Like, I personally think they should be taking a different approach to the offseason and rebuilding the roster, but I'm not the GM. I don't get to make these decisions. So if you are in win-now mode, I get it. 1 year, incentive-laden, maybe you get 50% of the guy that was an all-pro, and if you do, that's a really good number 2 behind Chris Olave. Now, can he stay healthy? I don't believe he can. He's given me no reason to believe so over the last 3 years that he will. But if he does, it's a worthwhile investment. So we'll see. Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston both back in New Orleans. Wild. Would not have thought that a month ago. Might not have thought that a week ago. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Baseball at the Box returns tonight. Blake Dean, fresh off win number 200 in his career. My God, we are getting old. Blake Dean is in his 8th season as the UNO. Blake Dean is in his 8th season as the UNO head coach. God, he's so old. We'll talk to our guy when we come back. They're on the bus to BR. We'll talk to Blake Dean next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Remember, River City's 1 Hour Air, a couple things I got to remind you about. Number one, they are hiring. So as we move toward the warm weather months, of course, you ramp up all the calls this time of year because, it gets to be 100 degrees and people need their ACs serviced. So they are hiring. You can always check them out. 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. I always love sharing great 5-star Google reviews. This one from Lionel Smith. It said, Chris and Nicole arrived at our house on time. Nicole was standing there smiling with a package she had retrieved from our front door. It had been delivered to us by one of the vendors we use. They were polite, very thorough in servicing our AC unit. After servicing the unit, they pointed out 2 potential problems which could cause bigger problems in the future. I asked them to give me a quote on all repairs, We'll have them come back in a couple of weeks to perform the work and correct the problems. Overall, an A+. Another 5-star review. River City's 1-hour air.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're glad to have you aboard with us here. Blake Dean of the UNO Privateers are busting up to Baton Rouge. Muses, I think they just dropped the call. We're going to call them back real quick. Actually gives me an opportunity to remind you about South Point Volkswagen. As a matter of fact, you go out in the parking lot right now. My vehicles has some standard maintenance due, some recall thing. So I actually dropped off the vehicle at South Point earlier today and test driving the ID4, the all-new electric ID4 from South Point Volkswagen. They've got 2 of them on the lot. If you want to go test drive one, you can right now at southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? 8th year UNO head baseball coach Blake Dean, who just reached win number 200. What a milestone. Good enough to join us here as the Privateers are busting to Baton Rouge to take on the Tigers tonight. Blake, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, you were getting so old. 8 years, 200 wins? I mean, do you have gray hair? Is it all falling out? What's going on there?
Hell, I ain't got much hair left. I'm trying. I need some more, quite frankly.
Oh, dude, it's congrats, by the way. What a great milestone. It doesn't feel like it's been 8 years, man, but happy for you and obviously for you and for your team's success. I want to talk about the game tonight, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, because you're here, and I'm sure you've been asked about it a million times, the umpire controversy from Friday night against Mississippi Valley. I mean, you were there. I'm just like, as a coach, former player, your thoughts on what transpired, and obviously what the conference did subsequently.
Yeah, so, kind of what I've told people is, I've known Reggie, the umpire behind the dish, for a while. He's been in the Southland Conference. We had him last year behind the plate at Southeastern, one of our final games in the tournament. There was a lot of things that transpired over the course of that night. Prior to that, there was two fans that had been ejected from their side, two players, a lot of just back and forth. I told their coach and I told Reggie, I thought a lot of it could have been solved if he would have threw their head coach out. Just got done with that, moved on from it. But it was just some constant hassle back and forth. And I told him at the end of the game, quite frankly, Reggie, what you did was wrong, right? It was wrong. I think everyone could see it was wrong. But to put it into context, the guy's been an umpire for quite a few years and had no blemishes on his record. And I think it was a night to where things got out of reach for him. And, he just did do the right thing ultimately. And I've said it that at the end of the day, the player was the one that suffered the consequences. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't, anything. It was the players that got penalized. And at the end of the day, our society now, and I've said it over and over, is it's a very reactive society and not a very proactive one. So I think the punishment in which he's enduring is a little steep. I think it was a reactive thing as it went viral, and things got blown out of context to a whole other level. Should he be punished? Most certainly. There's no question about that. He should suffer some consequence. But man, we don't have a lot of umpires lining up to come do the work that we're looking at, the quality of work that we need to get done. And obviously, he wasn't very quality that night, but over the course of his career, he's been pretty good. So you just hate to see that on all ends.
Great perspective. I appreciate you addressing it. Let's talk about tonight. Your team is coming at, you're 11-5. You won 4 in a row. You swept Valley this weekend. And by all accounts, you're mashing the baseball. What is working so well for your lineup early in this season?
Well, I tell people, so a lot of those numbers, obviously we've always been an offensive team. The numbers are slightly inflated after this past weekend. Heck, on Saturday we scored 35 runs in one game. Some of those numbers are inflated. But, again, we're aggressive. We kind of pride ourselves in at least being able to hit the fastball, and no matter what the velocity is, we want to at least try to take pride in that. I'll be honest, it seems times are changing. Now the new norm is 95 to 97, so people are hitting the fastball, and now you're seeing more breaking balls occur. So the game is changing, it's evolving, but our guys have just typically always been aggressive, and it helps being on that lakefront with that wind sometimes.
Now that is absolutely true. It's so interesting. Like if it's UNO there on the lakefront, if it's talking about the field down at Nichols with the way the wind blows, sometimes in that park, it's hard to get it out. It is interesting, the conditions sometimes. And you're right. Look, 35 runs on Saturday was bonkers, but you followed with, what was it, 16 on 16 to 3 on Sunday. Can you, by the way, have you ever played in a game that you can remember scoring 35 runs at any level?
No, I've never been a part of that. And we got accused of kind of running the score up. So, man, we took our entire starting lineup out in the fourth. We only played 7. So I've never been a part of 16 runs in one inning. So it was kind of crazy. Everyone was hitting. It was just a full team effort.
He's on Twitter at BDean34, UNO head coach. Blake Dean coming up to the box this weekend. Look, you're always good enough to come on every time you all play LSU. You split last year. You lost in Baton Rouge. You won at UNO. You've had some success beating LSU in these games. What do you tell your team before a game like this? Is it any different than when you play any other midweek game or any other opponent?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for these guys it is. For me, I don't really see much, differently. I'm used to it. I've been there and played at LSU and understand the magnitude of every game. For these guys, they got a little bit more to play for. Number 1 team in the country. Get to see, the Shore is going to be 95 to 98 tonight, so it's a little different for them. I just tell them, hey, you just go play your game, try to limit the mistakes. They're a good ball club. If you make mistakes, they're probably going to capitalize on it. Just give yourself a chance to win. No one expects you to go win except us. So go shock a few people.
Well, I mean, you did it a year ago. I don't think anything would surprise anyone at this point. Now, you mentioned Chase Shores. I'm looking at the official release, and the starting pitchers weren't announced. We're all assuming it'll be Shores tonight. Who are you going to go with tonight?
So we're going to go with Colt Mercer, left-handed pitcher for us. We've kind of been on a different rotation where depending on who we use on the weekend, it alters who we start in the midweek and that type thing. But he was a Florida State, went to FSU out of high school, and then was at Chipola Junior College. He's a lefty. He'll probably be 89, 93, fastball, curveball mix with a changeup. Hopefully we can get him in through maybe 3 or 4 innings, try to get to the lineup once, maybe twice if we're lucky, and then just kind of throw the kitchen sink at him from there.
Yeah. Do you look at? I mean, you got Texas this weekend on the road. It's a. I mean, obviously, no rest for the weary. LSU. Then you're at Texas, but then after that you start conference play. Do you start to think about how you're lining up your pitchers with the idea? Yes, of course you want to win these games. They're huge for RPI opportunities, but you're really thinking about more so the importance of conference play.
Oh yeah, most certainly. I've had this talk with Coach Maneri before. So the Southern Conference at one point in time, we're getting 2 bids. It hadn't happened in quite a few years now, especially with the realignment of conferences, the limited teams we have. So to me, RPI is really not that important. It's great. It looks good on paper, but for us to get to a regional, we have to win the conference tournament anyhow. So we're just trying to figure out the right combination to line up, get our guys work, be prepared for conference play.
LSU and UNO 6:30 tonight at the box. He is former LSU great Blake Dean, of course, UNO head baseball coach, 8th season, just notched career win number 200. Man, congrats on the milestone again. We always appreciate you being accessible to us, and here's to many, many more. Good luck tonight, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, brother.
That's our pleasure. It's former Tiger Blake Dean, again on Twitter at bdean34, bringing the Privateers here to the box. He's beaten UNO under Blake. They've beaten LSU 3 times. And last year, as I mentioned, they split. UNO won the game in New Orleans. LSU won the game in Baton Rouge. This is we get what LSU is this year compared to what they were a year ago and in recent history. I mean, this team is right now a juggernaut. But it's still baseball. And you got to go get 27 outs or 21 outs. Which they've done a lot.
You don't have to get no 27 outs. Not today. 2 hours, 18 minutes. Let's go.
I'm for it.
Yeah, you would be.
10-0, 12-2. Give me 3 innings from Shores.
There's potential for that tonight.
I'm sure there is.
There's potential for that tonight.
Or maybe UNO can score 35.
Yeah, I mean, look, man.
35-3 in a 7-inning game.
That's a lot.
Now, he said that the numbers are inflated, and I get that, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I've seen a whole bunch of UNO baseball this year. But they've put up a lot of crooked numbers. I mean, they put up 12 spot against Florida A&M. They put up 18 against Alabama State. They scored 10 against Brown, 9 against Brown. 10 against Southern, the 35 spot against Valley, 16 against Valley. So, dude, they have swung the bats at times this year. And you heard him say it. They're a free-swinging team. They go up there. And their coach is one of the greatest hitters in LSU baseball history. I'm not surprised that they're going to have an aggressive offensive approach. Can they pitch it? LSU, you heard him say, is going to face the lefty Colton Mercer tonight. So see how the Tigers handle a lefty on the bump. All right, to LSU and UNO tonight, 6:30 from the box. It's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. I had a great convo earlier today with my guy Jim Woodworth over at Mold Zero. He's actually just purchased and outfitted 2 new Sprinter vans, which is going to allow them to ramp up their productivity. So it's going to allow them to do more jobs and do more jobs more quickly than before. It's incredible. The other thing I'll tell you about Mold Zero, and again, just to clarify, it's a patented non-toxic dry fog. So there's a lot of different companies that do remediation work. With Mold Zero, this patented non-toxic dry fog treatment is quicker, it's more effective, and it's more cost-effective. You want to save thousands of dollars? You can do it with Mold Zero. And if you're curious how, just call and let Jim Woodworth explain to you the process and how it's going to be able to save you money and be more effective. It's Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com, mold-zerousa.com. If you go to the website, you'll see the number for Baton Rouge, New Orleans, so Greater Baton Rouge, Greater New Orleans. Actually, it's really all of South Louisiana. So you can call the number that's nearest you. They'd love to give you that free estimate. It's Mold Zero USA. They're still doing incredible. I was talking to Jim today. He said they're still doing so much work from Ida. People have been dealing with mold since Ida. That's been almost 2 years now. Let's get this stuff knocked out. Call Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. Okay, it's after further review. LSU softball coach Beth Torina, speaking of milestones, Blake Dean got win number 200 this last weekend. Beth Torina got win number 600 this weekend. Excited to have Beth on the show, one of our favorites. She'll be coming up in 30 minutes from right now. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. One of the other things and we got a lot of NFL free agency stuff we're going to get throughout the show. So if you missed it in the open, don't worry. We're coming back to it. We're going to do a ton of free agent stuff today. With the expansion of the SEC, it's going to mean new schedule formats in all sports, not just football. Will the league today announce scheduling format changes for a handful of sports, including baseball? So we'll get into that when we come back. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. Thursday is the start of the NCAA tournament. We'll be at Pluckers on Bluebonnet all day Thursday, starting with OTB from 7 to 10, Hunt Palmer from 1 to 3, and then AFR from 3 to 6. So if you're looking for a place to park it all day and watch the opening day of March Madness, come join us and our staff as we broadcast all day at Pluckers on Bluebonnet this Thursday. Now, tonight, what a great night. LSU baseball against UNO, Pels against the Lakers, and you got the play-in games, round one games, you know what I mean, for the NCAA tournament. You can watch it at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine and carry out or delivery. If you're heading to the box, grab some Pluckers before you go to the game. If you're going to the box, grab some Pluckers afterwards. Hunt Palmer will be at the Nicholson location at 8:30 for sports trivia. So eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV, play sports trivia, win Pluckers gift cards, Amazon gift cards, and other great prizes. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Already a really busy day in NFL free agency. Man, if you haven't heard the big news of the day, the Giants have landed Darren Waller, former teammate with Derek Carr, with a trade there. And the Chargers have granted Austin Eckler permission to seek a trade. The Saints are in the market for a running back. Is that something that's appealing, something worth keeping an eye on? The big news for the Saints, as we know today, Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas will remain in New Orleans. So tons of free agent signings. We're keeping our eye on it. Anything relevant here, we'll certainly continue to talk about as we move throughout the day. And excited to have Sean Fazende, our buddy from Fox 8 in New Orleans. He'll be with us in hour number 3 to just kind of reset all the news of the day, how it happened, what's noteworthy, where the Saints move forward from here. That's all coming up. We are going to go around the SEC in just a second. The SEC earlier today, we know next year that that Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the league. So with the news that Texas and OU are going to be joining the SEC, we knew that scheduling models were going to change for every sport because you're adding 2 new teams. What has been approved now are new scheduling models for 7 sports: baseball, gymnastics, swimming and diving, indoor track and field, volleyball. Now, that's 5 sports, but swimming and diving, indoor track and field are men's and women's. So if you include the men's and the women's, that's how you get to 7. I think of note, maybe of most note here, is what they're going to do in baseball. Now, the SEC baseball tournament format is still to be determined, what they do there. And it's already a long event. How do you prolong it even more would be very difficult. But the thing that the SEC bumps up against is the problem that LSU ran into in 2011, when, if you recall, LSU had an RPI in the 20s and didn't make regionals because they were sub 500 in league play and missed the SEC tournament. And so the knock on was, well, you didn't make your conference tournament. So the SEC changed the rule. They added teams to the SEC tournament, said we're never having a team left out again because of that, because LSU kind of got hosed that year. So that was the impetus for expanding the tournament. Well, can you really expand it further? We'll see what they do in time. Here's the changes. Each team will play in league play. They're dropping divisions. So you will not have 2 divisions. It'll just be one. It's actually inaccurate to say a single division, because a division denotes multiple, obviously, if you're dividing things. And if there's only one, there's no division. But anyway, but a single division, just for the sake of keeping this moving. You'll have 30 games. So you're not going to have East-West, just one division. And you'll have 2 permanent opponents and 8 rotating opponents. So you'll still play 30 games, 10 3-game series, but you're going to have 2 permanents and 8 rotating. I'm perfectly fine dropping divisions. I think they should have done that a long time ago as it is. I don't get at all permanent opponents in baseball. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me at all. None whatsoever. In football, you have these long-standing historical rivalries that they're trying to preserve. To a degree, I understand that. I don't think it matters a lick if LSU misses Mississippi State or Arkansas or Vanderbilt or Tennessee or Florida in a given year. You don't have to have Ole Miss and Mississippi State in baseball every year. You don't have to have Auburn and Alabama in baseball every year. Quite honestly, nobody cares. Few people care in football. Almost nobody cares in baseball. This makes no sense at all to me. I don't know why you would try to preserve permanent series in baseball. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Play 10 weekend series, have it on a rotating basis. You know you're going to miss a handful of schools every year, and that's that. And then move on and play them all next year. So whatever. It's only exacerbating scheduling issues. I think it's stupid, but this is what the league has decided to do. We'll wait and see what explanation they may give at some point. But if you're trying to preserve baseball rivalries, I don't see the point whatsoever. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're aboard with us. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. Quick reminder about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com. This Saturday, Wear Into the Green Parade. be on the lookout for a float from the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Of course, the 2 locations we mentioned, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge right near Perkins, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, they can help at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Make sure you go do that blood test that I tell you about all the time. Do your blood labs. Have your blood labs drawn. Let them look at your levels, your hormone levels. If it's growth hormone, if it's testosterone, it could be estrogen. It could be a lot of different things that could be attributed to how you're feeling. They can safely, affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels to get you feeling like your younger self again. And so often, I had this conversation with Kirk over there the first time I ever walked in. He said, so many times men come in and they'll do their blood labs and they'll start on hormone therapy. And when they start feeling again, feeling good and feeling young and strong again, then they start looking around going, what else y'all do? Just walk in the door. Just take that first step. TheAntiAgingClinics.com, TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Got the contract deets for Alabama's new coordinators, Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele. Each will make $1.9 million next season. Both receive 3-year deals, so Rees will go from 1.9 to 2 to 2.1 over the 3 years of his deal. Of course, Tommy Rees left his alma mater, Notre Dame, to join Nick Saban's staff at Alabama.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Former Georgia Southern head coach Brian Berg is reuniting with Chris Beard. He'll be part of his new staff at Ole Miss. Prior to his 3-year stint at Georgia Southern, Berg was part of Beard's staff at both Little Rock and Texas Tech for a total of 5 years. Berg finished with an overall record of 42-44. He was 21-29 in Sun Belt Conference play.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky's limping into the NCAA tournament. Their game against Providence in Greensboro on Friday. Literally, they've got 3 guards that are still injured. Cason Wallace, Severe Wheeler, and C.J. Frederick. Now, John Calipari said his team scrimmaged for 2 hours on Monday, and all 3 guards participated in the scrimmage. Wallace has started all 30 of his appearances this year as a freshman. Frederick really hasn't been very effective since injuring his ribs on February the 4th, and Severe Wheeler hasn't played since the Florida game on February 4th when he turned an ankle.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Arkansas has landed a major commitment. 4-star athlete Noreel White, 5'11", 170-pounder from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He's pledged to the Hogs. He's a 4-star who had a bunch of offers. Ole Miss, Florida State, LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn. The number 41 athlete in the country, the number 7 player in the state of Mississippi. White is the Hogs' 3rd commitment for 2024. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Tell you every day, face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's what they give you at Gulf Coast Office Products. And they have so many great options, no matter the size of your business or what industry you're in. Tell you all the time, ask about interactive whiteboards. The link is right there on the homepage. Dynamic collaboration. If it's a 2-person company, 2,000-person company, if COVID forced you to work from home, it's a great way to stay connected to your employees and to your customers and clients all over the country and the world. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. All right, y'all. It's after further review. Thanks for being here with us. We'll knock out a quick break. Come back, wrap up hour number 1. Some phenomenal news about Baton Rouge native Mike Hollins, who, of course, was part of a tragic shooting at the University of Virginia earlier or late last year. And phenomenal news in Charlottesville. Can't wait to share that with you. We'll do that when we come back. Beth, Torina, LSU softball coach, in about 16 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. You still have the jingle handy? If you do, okay, it's all right. No, we're no. Okay, well, we may not have time. We got 60 seconds. It's okay. I should have warned you on it. I want. Oh yeah, give me it. Give me that jingle. Give me that jingle. Give me the Get Gordon jingle. Love telling you about the Gord father. Love telling you about all the NIL deals. You seen the video they did with Squirrel Burrell? So good. He's running around the office, getting coffee and things like that. Blazing speed. Of course, track superstar. Love it. Gavin Guidry, Tiger baseball player, new Get Gordon athlete. That Get Gordon roster, NIL roster, is just absolutely blowing up. Give me it again. There it is. Tell me that don't make you bob your head. Tell me that don't make you want to shake your tail feather. You've been injured. You need representation. Do what injured people in Louisiana have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. GetGordon.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You said you put up a poll question already?
I did, yes, correct.
What is it today?
It's today's Citizens Bank poll question is, did the Saints make the right decision re-signing Michael Thomas, yes or no?
What have people said so far?
Well, I have to pull it up. One moment.
I have an idea for another poll question, by the way. I'm okay doing two today.
Okay.
Do you recall? You go ahead.
72.5% say yes.
Well, of course, because everybody are just, they're just shills. Everybody's a fan. Everything the Saints do is right. It's so weird.
Homers. All of them.
It's so weird because people think I hate the Saints. Like, I'm the most absurd Saints fanatic you'll ever meet in your life. I just don't like what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, you remember yesterday we talked about today's date?
Yeah, it's Pi Day. Yeah.
It's Pi Day. 3/14.
Yep.
3.14.
132.
Repeating.
That's all I got.
It's Pi Day. Rouse's is selling pies for $3.14. Maybe they're half pies for $3.14. All the different pies. Todd Dupree sent a text, said, Matt, pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Thus, Rouse's market selling half a pie for $3.14 is mathematically incorrect. Please tell them to sell the whole pie for $3.14. Thank you, the little piggy who went to the market. No, it doesn't make sense if it's the ratio of the circle's circumference to its diameter. The ratio, but wouldn't that, if it was the ratio of the circle's circumference to the diameter, wouldn't it then matter on the size of the circle? Whatever.
I don't know. Why? I mean, why can't we just eat pie and be like, yay, pie day? Why do we actually have to learn about pie?
For $3.14.
Yes, exactly.
You know what, Todd? I object to your text. Because what Rouse's is doing today is noble work.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving all humans in the vicinity of their some 60 stores the opportunity to eat delicious pie, home-baked pie, in their bakeries.
So good.
For
they have a really good bakery, too.
Of course they do. For $3.14. If all you're going to do here today, Todd, is just object to them serving up delicious pie, and listen, it's nothing more than an excuse to serve up delicious pie for $3.14. It's Pie Day. Okay, it's they could just let this day come and go and let the math nerds have it. But you know what they did? They said, no, you know what we're going to do? We're basically giving away pie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing today. And I think that's noble work. Oh, the other question, what's your favorite type of pie?
I was going to say,
Pie
what
Day.
does this have to do with our poll question?
Thank you. Yes, Pie Day.
Okay, so we
Today's pie, 3/14 is Pie Day. What's your favorite kind of pie?
We got to put a couple choices there and then.
All right, how about this? We each get to say our favorite pie.
Okay.
You, me, Paulie, and then
other.
Okay, so what's yours?
Apple. It's delicious. Love apple pie.
Paulie? Don't tell me you're not a pie guy.
I am. I'm trying to figure out what constitutes as a pie.
What do you mean?
Are you thinking like crawfish pies? That's not where we're going here. We're going with fat guy sugary sweets.
Although you could.
No, we're not, though.
It's like a cheesecake of pie?
No.
It's a cheesecake. It's a cake.
It's a cheesecake.
Okay.
Apple, pecan, pumpkin,
I'd probably
sweet
have to go
potato.
apple as well.
Okay, we'll pick something else.
Pumpkin.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. I would say sweet potato.
Okay.
And very specifically, Lady Jag's sweet potato pie.
Okay.
Is the best dessert maybe I've ever had in my life. It's on the short list. But for the sake of the poll, I think we have to have apple. You said pumpkin?
Yeah.
Apple, pumpkin, and pecan, I think have to be there. And then other.
Okay, yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, fair.
And there's other things. There's chocolate pie.
Oh, those are great.
That's fantastic.
With like the whipped cream on top.
Love it.
So good.
Love it. Piccadilly chocolate pie.
It's fantastic.
My goodness. I don't go there without it.
I mean, I can't blame you.
Chopped beef dilly with mac and cheese, green beans, soft roll, chocolate pie, high seafood punch.
Big hamburger steak guy from Piccadilly, man.
It's a jumbo chopped beef.
Same thing? Okay.
Go get some pie at Rouse's today. It's Pie Day. Thank you to Rouse's for giving us the opportunity to eat delicious pie for $3.14 today. Try to get a slice of pie for $3.14 anywhere. Good luck. Anyway, okay. This is awesome news. Genuinely phenomenal news. Mike Hollins, who of course is from Baton Rouge, who prepped at the lab school at U High, is a running back at Virginia. Many of you remember the story. Back in November, Mike Hollins was shot after a field trip, returning to campus from a field trip. 3 teammates were fatally shot, and another student was shot but survived. Mike Hollins on Tuesday, today, returned to the practice field 4 months after surviving the shooting. He was a full participant as the Cavaliers opened spring practice, which is nothing short of a miracle. I mean, he was shot in the back in November, and today was back on the practice field as a full participant as his team opened up spring. His teammate, kicker Will Bettridge, who was a high school teammate of Deshaun Perry, one of the football players who was shot and killed, has changed his number this year to number 41 as a way to honor his fallen teammate. But Just awesome. If you missed it, and by the way, this video, courtesy of Jackie Franchili, I hope I'm saying that correctly. She has video of Mike Hollins at UVA practice today at the indoor, taking some reps as running back wearing his number 7. So if you missed it, Ryan Clark and the guys on the pivot a while back did an interview with Mike Hollins and his mother, which was moving and impactful, and I would really encourage anybody to go watch it. But hat tip, salute to Mike Hollins. On your journey back, good luck. Go get him. And continued prayers, of course, remembering those who were killed that tragic day. Hour number 2 next.
AFR.
As we wrap up hour number 1, I want to remind you about our friends over at DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. But y'all, the madness is upon us. The madness is here, and it is time to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make a $5 bet on any NCAA tournament game. Make a $5 bet on any NCAA tournament game. If you're a new customer, they'll give you $200 in free bets. Win or lose, no questions asked. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. You got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, they've got stepped-up parlays as well. You got to opt in. More legs you add, more money you can win. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs is only bonus issued as free bets. Opt-in required. One free bet issued based on amount of initial losing college basketball bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball term. Licensed partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles Gambling Problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A well-connected state trooper who was suspended but never charged for a deadly accident he caused has a new job. 2 children died when Caleb Reeves rear-ended the car they were riding in 2 years ago. Now the son of the former leader of state police is moving to a cushy job in the intelligence wing of the agency. Watchdogs are concerned. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the Jets continue their pursuit of an Aaron Rodgers trade, they are signing one of the free agents on a wish list provided by the Packers quarterback. Receiver Allen Lazard has a 4-year, $44 million deal with New York. Two of the others on Rodgers' list, also Green Bay free agents, receiver Randall Cobb, tight end Mercedes Lewis, Fitz and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
Only issue that I have with this is that Aaron Rodgers is making these demands like he has won Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. If the New York Jets get these players for Aaron Rodgers, he damn sure better deliver and actually make the Super Bowl and give his team a chance, an opportunity to actually win.
The Giants acquired star tight end Darren Waller from the Raiders for a third-round pick, another offensive weapon for New York quarterback Daniel Jones. Receiver Michael Thomas and the Saints will not be parting ways as anticipated, as the sides have agreed on a one-year deal worth $10 million. NHL Hurricane star right wing Andrei Svechnikov will have season-ending knee surgery this week. It is a potentially massive blow to their Stanley Cup aspirations.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. What a busy day. We'll continue to get you caught up on all the NFL free agency news. Sean Fazende, Fox 8 New Orleans, will be with us next hour. Got to preview Pels Lakers, LSU baseball back at the box tonight. Just so much going on. Over the weekend, a big salute to one of our favorites here. LSU softball coach Beth Torina notched career win number 600. We played her post-game speech in the locker room yesterday on the show, and because the Tiger softball team was playing a doubleheader yesterday during the show, did not have an opportunity to reach out to her to get her on, but she's good enough to join us now. Coach, it's a pleasure. Congrats on number 600. Thank you for the time today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I've decided I really need to up my walkout music game after hearing your intro right there, though. Like, that's legit. I got to get something like that when I come into the room, like something big.
We did, when we double up, so that's like, are you a big grunge fan, alt-rock at all?
No, not really.
So, I mean,
no.
what were you listening to early 90s, early mid-90s?
I don't know. Probably still country music or something, or some kind of boy band. Okay. Who knows?
All right. See,
who knows?
So that's like that. We go Soundgarden, and then that's a custom AFR theme song made by Toby Tomplay. I could get Toby to make you a custom theme. Like, I'm sure he would be pumped to do it. If you want some custom Beth Torina walkout music, I'm not even joking. Like, Beth, say the word. I will get him to do it. He would take on the project.
Like when I walk out to the mound, I think this is just like a thing that they play,
You know what that is?
Announcing my presence with authority.
That's Edge is what that is. That's Edge.
Yeah.
That's 600 wins Edge is what that is. All right, that's happening, by the way. So wait, real quick though. Congrats on number 600. Can you just put some context around this for us? I mean, yes, it is just another number, but it's a really big number.
It really made me emotional when it happened. I mean, I don't count those things or know those things are coming, but our SID came up to me and was like, "Well, can you give a quote about it?" And I was like, "Wow, that was today. That's cool." It just makes me think about all of the women that put on the jersey and just gave so much of themselves to make that happen. It's just a really cool thought to think back, even from, my first couple of years, or, Lindsay and I's first years at FIU, some of the things that those women did too. It's just been an incredible journey. So, Carly Hoover was in the stands at South Carolina this weekend. So it's like you're seeing these women all the time come back and give back to your program, and it's cool to think about what they sacrificed for that.
That is pretty awesome. Carly Hoover in the stands in South Carolina. Is she living there, or is she living close by?
She's from South Carolina, but she is about to go. She plays in Japan professionally.
Okay,
so,
wow.
but she's from Clemson,
That's
South
awesome.
Carolina. So, yeah.
That is awesome. Look, I was thinking about this as well. You get a series win over South Carolina, and your team is rolling. You're 22-2 right now. And a year ago, I think it's safe to say that there were growing pains, and you probably knew going through last year was going to lead you to what's happening right now. I'd also imagine it didn't make going through last year any easier. Maybe you'll think about this like when the season's over, but does any of that hit? Like, was it a thing where you knew last year you had to go through that fire a little bit to get to where you are right now, which is obviously pacing as one of the best teams in softball?
Well, when you started talking about that, it was like, big sigh coming from me.
I'm not trying to bring up bad memories, but there's good ones right now.
I mean, I've kind of had a couple mantras in my head this year, and one of them has been good things come to those who wait. And I just am proud of how we did it. I think we could have jumped ship. We could have done a lot of things differently, but we stuck with these players and these awesome, awesome ladies that we thought were talented. We knew were talented, and we stuck with them, and we got them the experience. We got them the at-bats. We got them the big moments, the big pitches, and I think we're reaping the benefits right now, and I'm proud of that. Was it painful and terrible for a little bit? It really was. It really was. But I'm really proud of how they've grown and how they've trusted and bought in, even when some things were pretty low at times.
Yeah, and you mentioned the way you did it and stuck with a lot of the girls to get them experience. But then you have someone like Allie Kilponen, who's you get to take advantage of the opportunity to have her play a fifth year, right? So how do you balance that a little bit as well? Like having that level of experience. She's 8-0 for you right now. To have that, her experience on the squad.
Well, there were some major growing pains getting to this point with her. She'll be the first one to tell you. She'd like to delete her freshman year from her memory. Yeah. It was hard. It was hard. She took a lot of lumps. She had to be in some big spots that she maybe wasn't 100% ready for. But that made her who she is today. That's why she's having the year she's having, because she had to fight through and battle through some of those things. She's trusted and bought in the whole way. She's done everything I've ever asked, and it's truly just a pleasure to sit there and watch her pitch every game.
And she's got a sub-2 ERA right now. She's having a phenomenal year at 8-0. Beth Torina is with us. This is the first time you and I have had a chance to talk since the season started, and I did want to ask, this is so far in the past now, it was game 2, but you brought in Hannah Carson, who was a transfer from Michigan, who had played just a ton. And I'm sure you were going to count on her in a big way. And for those who don't know, she tore ACL in the second game of the season. How has that changed what you were planning to do this year?
Yeah, it's painful. It's painful. I think about it from time to time. I looked her up before the season. She had 418 college at-bats. 418. And she was hitting over 300 in those 400 at-bats, And I just think it would have been a really nice balance. I think Macy Bajaran would still be doing a ton of the catching for us. She is incredibly talented. I just think we could have sheltered her from some of the big moments and, eased her into the SEC. But now we're like, hey, kid, here's 3 games this weekend. First SEC series, catch them all. Hit in all of them. Be the, and it would have been nice to kind of just let her ease her way into it. But she's just been such an incredible talent and player for her entire life. So she's not afraid of the spotlight, and she's doing a great job for us. But we miss Hannah for sure.
22-2. What a matchup it's going to be this weekend. 5th-ranked Tennessee coming into Tiger Park. By the way, the game on Friday, because I know and we're of course LSU Sports Radio Network. There's so many. There's women's basketball, baseball, and softball all on the network on Friday. So the Tiger softball game is going to be on 100.7 The Tiger. So if you're not at Tiger Park and you're looking for it on radio, it'll be on 100.7 FM The Tiger on Friday. It's been moved to a 7 p.m. First pitch. So 6:45 will be the pregame on 100.7 The Tiger. What superstitions are new this year?
I don't know if there's new ones. You want to know what's crazy?
Yeah.
This team is so talented, I get to be a little less crazy.
No way. I don't believe it.
I'm still crazy. Oh, I'm still crazy. I mean, I'm still doing all the things. I've worn the same jacket every game. I'm like, Quinlan bought us all these nice game shirts, and we've only worn 3 of them because I won't change. What if that one doesn't have any wins in it, you know? So I've worn the 3 shirts. But it is nice to just let them go play. It is really nice.
I don't believe. All right, so yesterday there has to have been something. Like you sat on a bucket a certain way. You wouldn't step out of the coach's box. There had to be something yesterday. What did you do yesterday?
Well, I mean, when you're on the road, you have to eat the same breakfast every day if you win, and you have to sit at the same table in the breakfast restaurant.
There it is. Yeah.
Right. So if you lose, which, we're not going to do that. But if we were to lose, you would have to eat something different for breakfast and sit at a different breakfast table.
Got it. So what breakfast well, I guess you would have been home today. So it wouldn't have mattered what breakfast table you were sitting at because you weren't on the road. But right. I always love the superstitions. I remember last year you told us, or maybe this was a couple of years ago, you told us about one where maybe one of your daughters had put some toys in your jacket pocket, and so you just left them there. Are the toys still in the jacket pocket?
You don't want to know what's in my jacket pocket right now. I have one child's sock. One child's sock that has been with me all year. It's tie-dyed. I think we tie-dyed it ourselves. It's probably dirty, but I have one girl's sock in my right pocket of my coat.
That is so good. It's why I love to pry on this question in particular every time you're here, because it's always going to be something gold like that. Congrats on an awesome start. We're obviously going to be following you all the way through, and hopefully season-ending hoisting a trophy there in OKC. We appreciate you, Beth. Thanks for the time as always.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Be well. That is Beth Torina. She's been great to us for all the years we've done the show. Every time I call her, she's always willing to come on, and one of just my favorite, not only coaches at LSU, one of my favorite people. So we love when we have Coach Beth on for a couple of minutes, and they are in fuego. I mean, they are 22-2. They split the doubleheader yesterday, only their second loss of the year. So 22-2 right now. And, man, they're churning and burning, man. It is going to be fun to watch this weekend with Tennessee coming in. So you'll have 12th-ranked LSU, 5th-ranked Tennessee, and the Tiger softball squad is going to see if they can go take another weekend series. Beth has said it's her stated goal. She wants to win every SEC weekend this year. This is a big opportunity at home this weekend with Tennessee coming in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, it's after further review. The NCAA tournament brackets are out there, and Lee Feinswog is going to pick Purdue to win it all, as he does every single year. And that's going to happen next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance and the Watermark. If you're in downtown Baton Rouge, the Watermark Hotel. If you're in Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet, it's the Renaissance. The Watermark or the Renaissance, 2 of Baton Rouge's premier hotels. And listen, people know about the hotels, and occupancy is always great, but they can always host your event as well. If it's a dozen people in a boardroom at the Renaissance, or one of the vault for a fine dining, a private dining experience at the Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge, so many great options. Or the Renaissance meeting space that can host up to 500 people. They like to say they're in the business of saying yes. So whatever size gathering or event you have, the Renaissance or the Watermark can accommodate you. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. 2 awesome opportunities and 2 great restaurants as well. Tallulah inside of the Renaissance, the Gregory inside of the Watermark. Discover the Watermark and the Renaissance.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. there's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Lee Feinswog joins us. Boiler up, baby. How are you?
I'm good. You know, Matt, you know how people always say, only in Louisiana. You hear that all the time, right?
My good friend Michelle Southern has a great podcast, Only in Louisiana.
Only in Louisiana.
Yep.
And when I read what I read today, because I figured we might visit about it, and saw the follow story that Will Wade has already been suspended for the first 5 games by McNeese for next basketball season. I swear I thought it was like I had to check. Wait, today's March 14th, not April Fool's Day. I mean, I'm just like, only in Louisiana.
Is that all right? So I saw the headline.
That's true.
I understand it's true, but my point is,
but it's like, but how can that be true? It's like, oh my gosh, you hired him. You had this press conference, and you knew he's damaged goods when you got him, and so now you've taken a proactive,
So they're doing it
strike.
essentially. So just to be clear, they're doing this essentially to pacify the NCAA, to say, hey, take it easy on us. We're going to make him sit for 5 games.
They wouldn't do it willy-nilly, you would assume. You hope that they're doing this with a frame of reference, and that they talk to the NCAA ahead of time, say, look, we're going to hire this guy. What's going to happen? If we do this, will it help? I mean, you have to assume they did that. They just arbitrarily come up and say, we'll suspend him 5 games. That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
I'm with you. Didn't Kansas suspend Bill Self?
Not when they hired him, not before he ever coached.
Yeah,
this guy got hired. This guy got hired. The season's not even over yet, and he doesn't coach again until practice starts in October. He doesn't play a game until late November.
So I guess I'm just far less cynical with all of this. Like, I don't care that. I'm glad McNeese hired Will Wade, and if this is
me too. Think it's great.
If this is the public facing deed that the NCAA needs to see from McNeese to be able to let him hire Will Wade and clean hands. This had to be decided before today, obviously, so everyone already knew.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead. No, you were going to say about Will Wade. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, nice. I mean, good move. Good gotcha moment for McNeese, and good for he's making decent money. But still, it's just like, wait, this can't be. This can't be. The quote, Will Wade's quote was like so great, and I don't know if you happen to see his press conference or any of it.
Yes.
I'm excited to be back in Louisiana. Happy to be back coaching. This program needs a rebirth. My career needs a rebirth. And he kind of smiled when he said it. This is a perfect, time for us to come together. And, when he said that, I was like, all right, maybe the ghost of Christmas future visited him during the night, and maybe he gets it a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know.
Wait, so why do you think this is good?
Well, McNeese hasn't been relevant in basketball, except for very few seasons over the course of 40 years. Joe Dumars is not walking back through that door. When did Joe Dumars play there? Around 1980?
Late 70s, early 80s,
yeah. And then in that, 40 plus years, there's been a couple of good times that there's been nice teams there. But, that's not atypical of the Southland. I mean, you're never going to dominate and be really good all the time. It's just tough because you just don't have the budget and you're limited. But so for a school like McNeese to be able to get a guy like this, it's a good hire. Understanding, of course, that he could come back. They could come to with a show cause. 5 games may not be enough, and I'm sure. I mean, let's just hope McNeese has good lawyers and common sense and is well protected in the event the NCAA comes to him and says, "Hey, he can't coach. Sorry, you can't touch him for another year or 2 years or whatever," and they have a plan. So who the associate head coach is going to be is important.
But would you agree, like that, Lee? That can't be the case. They would not have hired him without assurances from the NCAA that there wasn't going to be a show cause.
Let me ask you this: how can you get assurances from the NCAA where you don't even know who's running the show there? You got a new guy on board. You've got an organization that's in flux at the very least. So, I hope that McNeese has done its due diligence and knows what it's doing.
Yeah,
because it'd be a shame for him if they.
Boy,
let's hope.
They have
but
to.
Matt, just to find out though that they hired the guy yesterday and today they suspended him for 5 games before he's ever coached. I mean, wow, big wow. I wish him nothing but the best. I've always liked McNeese. I've always respected what they've tried to do there academically and athletically, and it's an important part of the Lake Charles community, an area that just has had the living bejesus beat out of it the last few years after the hurricane and the recovery from it. And so, let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Listen, I mentioned it yesterday. I like Will Wade personally. I do. He was very good to me in the show whenever he was the coach at LSU. He and I got along very, very well on air and off. We did the silly Bud joke for years. I wish him, and what he did, everyone does. It wasn't some egregious crime he committed or anything like that. He did what everybody does, and is now legal. So according to the framework and the letter of the law, yes, I get why it had to go down the way it did. But I wish him well, and I hope he does exceptionally well at McNeese and gets an opportunity to coach. Maybe in a couple of years, he wins and goes on to another place. But Lee, I can't imagine McNeese hiring him without assurances that he's not going to get a show cause. But the other side of that, and this is the part that's relevant here, is if you're LSU, this case has to be closed. It's got to be done. The fact that this is still lingered now for more than 4 years with the NCAA is almost inexcusable at this point.
No doubt. The NCAA is rudderless. And, the new guy coming in, the politician from Massachusetts, Baker, I'm blanking out on his first name, by all accounts is a really bright, good guy. And I sure hope that he can right that ship. And because there are just so many things. I mean, we'll go off completely on a different tangent, but with all the things that are going on now with NIL, the transfer portal, conference realignment, which is not done. And we're not just talking about small programs changing conferences. When you talk about Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC and UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten and all the things that are going on there, it's a monster. I don't know why anybody would want that job, but that's another story.
Charlie Baker, and he wants the job. He wants the job because he's going to make 7 figures a year.
Yeah, well, and But
I'm sorry, your phone cut off. You said and then your phone cut off.
Oh, I can't remember what I said. Yeah, it was like 5 seconds ago. Matt, come on.
I said Charlie Baker's going to make $1 million a year. It's why he wants the job.
Oh, yeah, and I said, right. Well, the challenge that he's got is probably exciting for a guy like that and a big change in his life. Pretty cool. If you're the guy who can save the NCAA, then you'll go down in history. Much better history, unfortunately, than Mark Emmert will.
He is Lee Feinswog, host of Sports Monday, which you could see every Monday, of course, in the Baton Rouge area on Cox.
Or you could watch Sports 225, which airs the first time on Cox 4, which is your view, at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. But, yeah.
Sports225.com. Oh, what did you do before you picked Purdue to win the national championship? What did you do last weekend?
Oh, I was in freezing, rainy Camarillo, California, playing water polo outdoors. And it was wonderful, but we
sounds like it.
Played Friday night, twice on Saturday, and then Sunday. I feel like I got run over by a train.
Well, you're an old guy with other old guys swimming around in a pool, throwing a ball into a net.
It was old guys, and it was camp. Believe it or not,
I'm sorry.
It was camp. We had camp, just like kids, only it's for old guys. We have coaches and everything, and work on team drills and individual drills, and did that for 3 straight days. It was awesome. But cold.
Like training camp.
Training camp. Yeah. Well, you're on your own to train and be in shape. There you do stuff like learn new ways to do hand-to-hand combat in the water. That's the easiest way to put it. It was fun.
Why do you keep playing water polo?
The serious, honest answer is, number one, of course, is everybody who plays it loves it, but not any different than any senior athlete who continues playing any sport who enjoys it, whether it's guys who play pickup basketball still, like Eric Gerard's got that Sunday night basketball game that's going on 40-plus years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Any guys who play, softball. Now, you've got so many people playing pickleball,
yes.
Or even, but a serious tennis player, even people who play golf. But the thing that's a little bit different about this, and I'll hurry up and give you the quick story.
No, you're good.
We were together once, and one of the guys with my team did something that was just embarrassingly bad for him. And we all had lunch. There's 12 or whatever of us, plus some wives and other people. And afterwards, Brenda said to me, God, you guys were just brutal on Jody. You guys were just killing him. And I said, that's because it doesn't make any difference if you're 12 or in college or old people. When you're on a team, it's a license to just rip guys and give them a hard time. And it's so much fun to have guys to go out and, drink with and play with and have fun with. And it's just cool to be on a team, even at this age. It's even cool. You get medals, too, at tournaments. You get a second-place medal. You go, oh, this is so cool. I have them hanging up over here. It's great. I said that's the honest answer.
Well.
It's a motivator for me. There are days when I don't want to train or work out. And it's like, oh, God, I'm going to get killed if I don't.
Of course.
So, go work out,
Well, Lee.
Okay, the big question.
Yes, so tonight or the first round, air quotes, it's the play-in.
The play-in.
Exactly. But Thursday is when it all begins in earnest. The madness is upon us, the big dance, as it were. And we always like to ask you for your Final Four here when we talk on Tuesdays before the start of the big dance. So I'm anxiously awaiting your Final Four and who you have winning the national championship. Excuse me while I get my pen ready.
Emerging from the right side of the bracket will be Gonzaga and Texas. Texas is a most curious story this year.
Okay.
Emerging from the left side of the bracket will be Baylor and, of course, Purdue.
Okay.
Purdue, of course, will beat Texas in the national championship game. Finally ending Matt Painter's long drought. It's just been boiler up, baby.
Somewhere Gordy Rush is pumping his fist, yelling boiler up, baby! Boiler up, Feinswog. Maybe it's the only thing you and Gordy have in common, your love for
Purdue. Brian Madden, the state trooper who guards the LSU football coach.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Played football at Purdue. He's from Indianapolis.
So did Kevin Sumlin. Kevin Sumlin played at Purdue. Where did he go?
Where did he go?
Give me.
The first time I went there, actually almost got arrested covering LSU women's basketball by a Purdue cop.
Oh,
that's another story for another day. But there's a great place to drink there named Harry's Chocolate Shop.
Are you going to be locked into the Lady Tiger basketball team?
No. The last time I watched a women's basketball game in its entirety in person, I had a freelance assignment to cover an LSU basketball regional for the Pittsburgh Press-Gazette. Pittsburgh was here or somebody, and so was Louisville, LSU, and somebody else. And I remember 10 minutes in calling the Pittsburgh paper saying, how much can I pay you not to have to finish covering this? It was awful. But I'll watch them on TV. I do watch high-level women's basketball on TV. Not intently. But I will watch the play-ins. Love the play-ins.
And I'm sure when you're watching the play-ins, you'll have in your hand
you go.
an
There you go.
Cold beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use it. Beer.
All right, take it away, Lee.
All right, and I say all that previously with all due respect to women's basketball.
Total respect. Total respect to women's basketball. Clearly,
play it, but I just it's not for me.
Got it.
So
Understood.
luckily, this was the beer I picked out, and luckily the weather got cold because this is not a warm weather beer.
Okay.
Flying Tiger out of Monroe,
Ooh.
way up there in North Louisiana.
Love Flying Tiger.
Protocol Zero, Russian Imperial Stout, 9.2% alcohol. This is not for the timid. This is a strong, but not bitter beer. But it has semi-bitter chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, brown sugar, and cocoa nibs. And it is one of the finest Russian Imperial Stouts you will ever have. It's thick and just wonderful. And I had it with a spicy dinner that included some sausage, and it could not have been better. I drank half of it before and then half with dinner. Flying Tiger out of Monroe, as you know, Matt, and just said, what a great brewery, the stuff they do. Protocol Zero, Russian Imperial Stout. Those of you who like these kind of beers, you will thank me. Those of you who can't do the stout and stuff, well, we'll have something better next week.
What is on the show this week?
John Brady. I haven't talked to John on TV in a long time. Well, we have now 3 topics to talk about. The LSU basketball season gone by, the hiring of Will Wade, and the subsequent suspension, did I mention that? And the NCAA tournament.
Thank you, Lee.
Bye, Matt.
We'll see you later. Lee Feinswog, sports225.com. It's AFR.
AFR.
It is Pi Day. Muse, I need a poll question update if I could. March 14th, 3/14. It's Pi Day. Yes, math nerds everywhere are celebrating, but Rouse's has taken this opportunity to sell you delicious baked goods at absurd prices. That's right. $3.14 for a half a pie. Good luck finding a full pie for $3. Good luck finding a slice of pie. That's what I meant to say. For $3.14 all day today. Rouse's is selling you half pies for $3.14 in honor of Pie Day. What's our poll question right now, Muse?
What's your favorite pie? 43.8% say pecan.
What else?
22.9% say apple. 18.8% say other. We have some comments, key lime, cherry, those type of things.
What about pumpkin?
14.6%. It's bringing up the rear.
Lady Jack's sweet potato pie is the result, but if you can't, is the answer. But if you can't get that, go to Rouse's.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And as always, you will never pay over MSRP. We also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You still have Tigers in the pros in about 10 minutes from right now. We will talk some Pels Lakers next hour. And Sean Fazende of Fox 8 in New Orleans is going to be with us a little less than 1 hour from right now. I want to go through each of the free agent moves involving the Saints, how they got to those decisions, what they mean for the roster now, and what's still left to do. So we'll sort of put a bow on all the free agent stuff with Sean coming up next hour, as tomorrow is the official start of free agency. But the NFL's tampering period is the legal tampering period is going on right now when teams can negotiate with agents for free agents and then agree upon terms that can only become official starting on Wednesday with the start of the league year. When Derek Carr was introduced on Saturday in New Orleans, he was asked if the Saints' defense was a part of the reason why he ultimately chose to play in New Orleans, meaning he has never really had a really good defense with the Raiders, and this is a nice complementary piece to what he might be able to do offensively.
One thing for me when making this decision, all you can do is, look at past resumes. I knew once you sign with the team, none of the stats or anything in the past matter. Right now, we don't have any rankings and we don't have any wins, And so the most important thing to me was the character of the men in the room. Not really the ranking and that kind of thing, but the character. And, when I talk to the defensive guys here, and I've known a lot of them for a lot of years, but they're grown men. They know how to handle success. They know how to handle hard times. And they compete at everything that they do. And this past year, when y'all beat our faces in, here at the Superdome, you could feel the physicality that they played with. You could feel the energy, the brotherhood. You could feel those things. And I was so pissed after the game, excuse my language, but, I was like, wow, what an opportunity it is to make that one of my choices now.
That's glowing praise, and the Saints shut out the Raiders in the Dome, by the way. I don't know if that's a better reflection on the Saints' defense or a poor reflection on Carr and the Raiders, but anyway. I'm curious if Derek Carr would say the same given the exodus defensively. Now, there are still some great veterans there. Cam Jordan is still there. DeMario Davis, the heart and soul of your defense. Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May. Obviously, your cornerback room, I think, is young and talented, and Lattimore and Adebo and Taylor. There's a lot to like. The defensive front has some major questions now. They did before. The Saints were 24th in the NFL in rush defense a year ago. But now you've seen David Onyemata go to Atlanta. Shai Tuttle go to Carolina. We've learned Marcus Davenport is headed to Minnesota on a 1-year deal. And Caden Ellis, that might be the one that stings the most, is headed to Atlanta on a 3-year, $21.5 million contract with $11 million in guarantees. A lot of people have asked about Marcus Davenport and said, hey, is he the biggest bust in Saints history? Absolutely not. In asking that question, it is ignoring the first 40 years of Saints franchise history. Jonathan Sullivan was a bigger bust. Sean Knight was a first-round pick, I believe the 11th pick overall, and played 1 year in New Orleans. Played 3 years total in the year. You had a guy that was the 11th overall pick, played 1 year in New Orleans. Then went to Denver and played 1 other year, I think, in Arizona, and was done. So some people will ask about Ricky and Reggie. Now, I think they get an unfair rap. It was basically, both were very good, very productive players. There was just enormous expectation given where they were taken in the draft. Ricky, what the Saints gave up to get him first overall, and then, or not first overall, but in the top 10, and then Reggie going 2 overall. But both were sensationally productive players, just, given the expectation is why people would ask that question. Davenport, when he was on the field prior to this year, was a productive player. The problem was getting him on the field. And then this year, coincidentally, he was on the field, played 15 games, which was a career high, but had a career low in productivity, only a half a sack on the season. So I don't think this is a surprise that Davenport is leaving New Orleans. It is a disappointment considering what you gave up to get him. Back in 2018, remember, you moved up 13 spots. You traded with Green Bay. You went up 13 spots to select Davenport. And you gave up a 5th-round pick that year and your 2019 first-round pick. Now, that ended up being the 30th pick overall, and the Packers traded it to the Giants, and the Giants ended up taking DeAndre Baker with that pick. So make of that what you will, but you did give up a 1 and a 5 to move up 13 spots to take a player who's most known in his time in New Orleans for being injury-prone. When he was on the field and when he was active, he was very good by any measure, but he wasn't on the field consistently, and then this year he was, and his productivity vanished, which is why nobody spent a lot of money on him. The odd thing, for me anyway, is when I look at the Saints' approach right now in free agency, I think we all agree, we've talked about it a bunch, the approach has been win now. They're not taking the long tail view. That's why they're not necessarily looking at a quarterback early in the draft, clearly as evidenced by signing Carr. When you look at allowing guys like David Onyemata to leave, Shai Tuttle to leave, Caden Ellis signed with Atlanta, they essentially said, we're not investing long-term in players. We'll bring Michael Thomas back on a 1-year incentive-laden deal. Bring Jameis Winston back on a 1-year deal. Would you let Davenport walk? That's the interesting part to me, is if Davenport had gotten what some market value had projected, near $20 million for him, which I understand sounds absurd coming off the year he had, but he's still an edge rusher in the NFL and a young player. If he had gotten that, I could have understood. To let him walk when he essentially took a 1-year kind of prove-it deal in Minnesota is a little bit odd. And so now you've seen Onyemata, Ellis, Tuttle all walk in free agency, along with Davenport as well. Ellis is the one that is maybe the biggest gut punch, because that's a guy who you identified the player. Remember, Caden Ellis was a 7th-round pick out of Idaho. And it's rare that you hit on players in round 7 or an undrafted free agency. But this was a guy that you identified, you drafted, you developed. He was a productive special teamer. And then this year, when you had an injury to Pete Werner, Ellis is the guy that stepped in and had a career year. Sacks, tackles for loss, all of it. And presumably, you would have thought, man, when you're losing so much on that front 7 of your defense, and you know Demario Davis is aging, this is a guy you want to hang around your team for another 3-4 years. And you lose him to your division rival. And I get it. Terry Fontenot's the GM, was with the Saints when they identified and drafted Caden Ellis. Ryan Nielsen is the new defensive coordinator there, who was the co-DC in New Orleans this past year, knows the player. So I understand the connection there. But it is disappointing to basically do all of the legwork, identifying, developing the player, and then as he's reaching his prime, you lose him to a rival. Linebacker is one that the Saints are going to have to address depth. Demario Davis is magnificent. Pete Werner, when he's healthy, has been a really good player. But with Caden Ellis leaving, you are spectacularly thin behind them. Andrew Dowell is there. Chase Hansen is there. Zach Bond's in the final year of his rookie deal. Will he finally materialize? I doubt it. No reason to believe he will. But you're going to have to do something to address your depth at linebacker. You know who your starters are. Provided they're healthy, Davis, Werner, those are your guys. Where's your depth? That's what you need to address. Ellis would have been an awesome piece to be that third linebacker and a guy that presumably would be the guy would step in to be a starter when Demario Davis's time in New Orleans comes to an end. But that's no longer an option. Instead of having him play for you and help you win games, you're going to have to play against him twice a year now as he's headed to Atlanta. So the Saints, that front seven continues to be remade. And with free agency beginning on Wednesday and then subsequently the draft, you better believe that is going to be a major focus for this team. I feel great about the Saints secondary. I really do. I love the talent and the pieces. And I understand Tyrann Mathieu aging and won't be there forever, but I really like the Saints secondary. And there are pieces in that defensive front that are still very good protective players. You've got to add numbers and depth and get some youth in that front seven. That's going to be a major focus in free agency and coming up in the draft. Okay, we'll knock out our final break here of hour number 2. Muso, when we come back, we'll have Tigers in the pros, and we still got a ton to do. We still got to talk Pels. Lakers, massive one tonight at the Blender. We'll get to all of it. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by ProCharge, ProChargeEV.com. I mentioned I was over at South Point Volkswagen earlier today and was talking to Brad, and he said, man, we had someone pull up into the lot here at the dealership who was driving an EV, and they had 9% left on their EV, and they needed a place to charge. That's what ProCharge is aiming to change. You're seeing more and more people drive electric vehicles. You are seeing more and more manufacturers produce electric vehicles. You're seeing them on the road. What you don't see enough of are electric vehicle chargers, which is why if you own a business, you have got to inquire with ProCharge about EV chargers. Do you realize not only is it an amenity for your customers, bring people into your business, but also there are tap-to-pay options where that can become a revenue generator for you, and ProCharge manages all of it. You just get a check every month. ProChargeEV.com. ProChargeEV.com to learn more. They're local, so the local team, they'll service it locally. It's ProCharge. ProChargeEV.com to learn more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I had to leave my parents. I I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Lemon meringue. Oh, that's Sean Comiskey.
Not for me, but sure, some people, yeah.
Garrett Bell, lemon icebox pie.
Well, what is that?
I don't know the difference between lemon meringue and lemon icebox pie.
Hanny sent in Mississippi Mud.
I love Mississippi Mud.
It's good.
That's great. Mississippi Mud Pie is great. Shout out, Hanny. Thanks for listening, too. That's awesome. It's Pie Day.
It is.
March 14th, 314. 3.14. Pie.
That's correct, yeah.
Rouse's is selling half pies today for $3.14. So we're asking you, what's your favorite pie? That's the poll question. Citizens Bank Trust poll question. What's your favorite pie? Let us know. You can text me. 396-4400. 225-396-4400. 396-4400. The correct answer, by the way, is Her Eminence Lady Jaguar's sweet potato pie. That is the answer. If you ever get a chance, it'll change your life. But if you don't work here, you'll probably never get the chance.
Probably not.
And even if you do, you might not. But I'm her favorite, so she makes them for me often. Yeah. Maybe we'll call her.
She's probably down. Well, never mind.
No, she might be sleeping. She goes to sleep at like 5 o'clock.
Sure, she
and then wakes
goes
up
to sleep very early.
she wakes up at 2 a.m. and prays for like 3 hours before she comes to work. Seriously. Awesome lady. Shout out Lady Jack. Muse. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
The Cleveland Browns are re-signing center Ethan Posick. That's a 3-year deal. Sources have confirmed to ESPN. Of course, the Browns initially signed Posick last year to a 1-year deal as the backup, but the starter Nick Harris spent last year injured pretty much, so Posick got his chance. He's 28 in this August. He ranked top 5 in both pass block and run block win rate among centers in the NFL. Now a new 3-year deal with the Cleveland Browns. Duke Riley also staying put, but in Miami. Adam Schefter reports that Duke Riley and the Dolphins have agreed to a new 2-year deal. No other terms have been reported for that deal. Riley was signed by Miami as a free agent in 2021. Played in 33 games for the Dolphins over the last 2 seasons, 71 tackles and a sack. Also a pretty cool role on special teams, so shout out Duke Riley. Naz Reid missed the Minnesota Timberwolves game last night with what the T-Wolves are calling left calf tightness, so we'll keep you updated there. His calf would be perfect if he stayed.
Worked out that calf tightness. Yeah, man.
Learned some new stretching routines.
Wouldn't have calf tightness.
Wouldn't at all.
Sure.
Tari Eason did play last night for the Rockets and was in a starting role. Got 35 minutes in that role. 6 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. And the Rockets, they won a basketball game.
No.
They beat the Celtics.
No.
111-109. Alex Bregman yesterday in spring training went 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. He would add a walk to his line, hitting .313 so far.
Did he bounce the ball to second base?
Not that I know of. No, I did not see that if he bounced the ball to second base. Although that'll happen, I think, more and more often.
But you don't know if he did?
I don't know for sure. Okay. I mean, if they hit a double play ball to him, he probably did. Or if, you know.
Shout out Otter. He hit with Memphis -4 last night.
Hey. Josh Smith rounds us out. He had a pinch hit at bat yesterday for the Rangers, made the most of it. 1 for 1. It drove in a run, and then he scored a run. 333 for Smith in the spring. That's Tigers in the Press.
Schmitty. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know where to find him. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all. 2 in Baton Rouge, and always online at LMFJ.com, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. All right, hour number 3. Let's talk some Pels Lakers when we come back right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Brought to you by Traction. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Explain this again really easily. So, if you're a parent, your son or daughter plays sports, no matter the sport, Traction has built out an incredible state-of-the-art training facility for athletes of all ages and skill levels. If you want your son or daughter to get bigger, stronger, faster, or to improve the specific skills in their sport, Traction can help, and it's so affordably. They have membership programs where you can get 4, 8, or unlimited sessions per month. That's performance training, strength, speed, bigger, stronger, faster, and then skill training for the specific sport. Learn more at TractionSports.com. Right there on Burbank. You can't miss it. There's no facility in the state of Louisiana or in the Southeast region like it. It's TractionSports.com to learn more. Traction Sports, where champions are made.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A well-connected state trooper who was suspended but never charged for a deadly accident he caused has a new job. 2 children died when Caleb Reeves rear-ended the car they were riding in 2 years ago. Now the son of the former leader of state police is moving to a cushy job in the intelligence wing of the agency. Watchdogs are concerned. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another sign that Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers potentially could be traded to the Jets. New York signed Packers free agent receiver Allen Lazard, 4 years, $44 million. He was one of the players on the wish list Rodgers provided to the Jets to target and acquire. Two of the others, also Green Bay free agents, receiver Randall Cobb, tight end Mercedes Lewis. Rodgers is well aware of the power he yields because the Jets are desperate for a quarterback, explains ESPN's Louis Riddick.
New York? I got you. I got you right where I want you, and I'm going to get everything I want. Everyone knows you have a small window to maximize your earning power and your influence in this league, man, because it'll move on from you quickly, too. He knows he's in the catbird seat right now.
Cowboys answered one of their big offseason questions. They acquired cornerback Stephon Gilmore from the Colts for a 5th-round pick. Gilmore will be paired with Trayvon Diggs. All-Pro cornerback James Bradbury returning to the Eagles, 3 years, $38 million, $20 million guaranteed. The Giants acquiring star tight end Darren Waller from the Raiders in exchange for a 3rd-round pick, giving quarterback Daniel Jones another target.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. LSU, UNO from the box. Lineups will be posted later this hour. We'll run through them. Busy night, of course, down at the Blender. Pels are going to take on the Lakers. And, man, this is it's hard to overstate the importance of them at this point. Pels Lakers tonight, last I checked, is a pick'em. And believe the Pels are not going to have Brandon Ingram. The Lakers are without LeBron James, as we know right now. And both teams are an identical 33 and 35. The Lakers, due to tiebreakers, are in the 9 seed. The Pels are in the 10 seed, which is the last spot of the play-in. So with a win and some help, you could see the Pels inch even closer to being in the playoffs, not even fooling with the play-in. It's, we're at the point now where, the Pels played 68 games. You got 14 to go. You have 14 to go, and you are 2.5 games out of the 6th seed. After this game against the Lakers, you've got back-to-back games against the Rockets, the worst team in the league, and then a game against San Antonio. And then you got Charlotte. You have the Charlotte, by the way, which is 22 and 48. The Rockets are 16 and 52. The Spurs are 17 and 50. The Hornets are 22 and 48. You, after this game against the Lakers tonight, have 4 games where you should win all of them, and that should not even be a question. If you win this game against Los Angeles tonight, you are staring at a potential 5-game, which should be a 5-game winning streak. And if you do that, you're going to set yourself up with single-digit games to play in the remainder of the season where you are in the playoffs. and you would have to have someone move you out of that spot. So this one is it's big for obvious reasons, man. They're all big right now when you're as tenuous as you are. It's against the Lakers, a team where you have an identical record right now. For tiebreaker purposes, when you're looking at the season series, it matters. These all matter. So, I understand. I understand why. Yeah. Okay. Great. Hey, please call Andrew Lopez right now. I texted him earlier. We're going to go to the blender and do a scene setter. Please just call him right now. That would be fantastic. We'll do 5 quick minutes with him here. I would love to do that. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought because Lopez just texted me real time, and I want to get him on the show. So yeah, holler at him and let's get him on here for a couple of minutes while we can. So huge one tonight. We'll do a scene setter preview with Andrew Lopez from ESPN.com in just a quick second. That actually gives me an opportunity here to remind you about Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, home of the Charlie's Dozen and the price match guarantee. You will not find tires, name brand tires, cheaper anywhere than at Shawbills. They are going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They're going to treat you like family. That's the Charlie's Dozen. A dozen benefits extended to you and your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. Just a couple of weeks ago, bought 2 new tires at Shawbills. You need 2, you need 4, you need 1. Whatever it may be, Shawbills has you covered with name brand tires at wholesale prices with 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find that location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. They're just the best. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. We got Andrew? Awesome. All right, Andrew Lopez, ESPN.com. Good enough to join us now. Hey, man, glad this worked out. How are you?
I am good, man. My apologies for the late return message, but
no worries.
I'm glad we got this done.
Hey, it sounds like you're in the blender right now. Give us a bit of a scene setter around. Are you?
I am right now.
Yeah, give us a bit of a scene setter around the arena and around the city today.
Look, you get in here and you kind of feel like, look, these guys are ready. I kind of saw Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is loose. He is loose right now, and I don't know if that means he's going to make every shot or if he's going to miss every shot, but he is loose. He is ready, and I think they could get a boost if number 14 decides he can play tonight. We'll see. He looked like he was pretty good this morning after shoot around where we kind of watched him go through his normal post-practice routine, getting his shots off with, on the side with Fred Benson, with Najee and Herb. So he looked like he was ready to go. We'll see exactly his status here probably in about an hour. So obviously we'll talk to Willie Green here in about 8 or 9 minutes. So we'll see exactly what is going to go on. But for right now, I think they're ready. And we talking to the team this morning, talked to Larry Nance specifically this morning about the term must win. You don't necessarily always want to use the term must win. You still got 14 games left in the season. However, some guys are like, no, but you just really want to have them. Some guys are like, no. Larry said, look, all these games are must-wins now. And I think after tonight, the key thing, no matter what happens tonight, you have 4 very, very, very important games coming up after tonight. At Houston, home against San Antonio, home against Charlotte. Those are against 3 of the 4 bottom teams in the NBA. Houston, I think, has 15 wins. Spurs have, 16 wins. And Charlotte, I think, has 22. They are all fighting for Victor Wembanyama. You now have a chance to go and get a nice stretch going against those guys. So I think we'll see what happens tonight.
Win tonight, you should be looking at a 5-game win streak. I get it. I get it. It's the NBA, but you should. Wait, so you alluded to BI there. He's a game-time decision. We'll find out soon. Does the fact that it's his former team actually matter to him?
I think it's, there may be some of the, hey, you're going against LeBron. Like, well, obviously LeBron's not playing, but they traded you away to get the guys they have now. I think some guys, they'll downplay it as much as they can on the record. You'll ask him, hey, does it mean more? Oh, no, another game, just another game. But look, I think, I think it's a natural feeling to want to have a good performance against the team that gave you away to get their guy. So I'll say it that way. But as for he'll probably downplay it. But I think it all, for most of these guys, it means a little something going against performance.
the Pels can even the season series. That would obviously matter for tiebreakers and things along those lines if they're able to win tonight. Give me a thumb. So no LeBron, but give me a thumbnail on this matchup, Andrew. How these two teams, as they're constructed right now, match up.
This is a better Lakers team than the one I think Pels fans saw early in the season, especially back in the Smoothie King Center. D'Angelo Russell has been playing very well for them. Just came back from injury a couple games ago, where he missed a couple. He's playing very good right now. The Vando Beasley trade looks good for them. You know, AD hasn't had to put up a lot of big games, and they were still kind of getting some dubs. I mean, I know they didn't get one on Sunday against New York against the Jalen Brunson-less Knicks team, but they're still 33-35 for a reason. But same thing with the Pels. You are what your record says you are. But they have been playing much better basketball in the last, 3 weeks, even without LeBron, than I think, many people saw from them earlier in the season. And that's because of the moves that they made at the deadline.
Give me, before we let you go, we appreciate you jumping aboard. Give me a key for tonight's ballgame. What should we keep an eye on?
Well, it would be nice if Trey Murphy scores 41 points.
That helps. It always helps when one dude scores 41.
I mean, that would be good. Obviously, if 14 plays, that's obviously another big help. If Brandon gets in the game, but I think it's going to be just making shots. I mean, I think that's been the key is making shots and specifically making your 3-pointers. If CJ can get going, Trey can get going, and that opens up things for Brandon in the mid-range, then you're in a good spot tonight. But I think those are the keys. Obviously, you have a healthier Larry Nance than what you had probably the other night. He's going to be key in defending Anthony Davis tonight. So if you can kind of keep AD in check and then hit some of those shots. I know it sounds simple, hit shots, but I think that's what it's going to come down to tonight.
He's on Twitter at _Andrew_Lopez. Y'all give him a follow. Of course, you read stuff over at ESPN.com there in the Smoothie King Center. Tonight, Pels, Lakers, it's a big one in the blender. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping aboard.
Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Be well. We always appreciate Andrew for his time. And I texted him earlier in the day. He literally was in that segment talking Pels, Lakers. That's beautiful synergy in the world. It was like, it's like the universe put out there that we were talking Pels Lakers, and he checked his phone, a text that's been sitting there on his phone for probably, 7-8 hours, but better late than never. We appreciate a couple of minutes. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. LSU UNO tonight from the box. I do want to talk about that. And then Sean Fazende, bottom of this hour, will reset the day for NFL free agency. Everything that happened today as it pertains to Saints, everything you need to know. There is a little bit of breaking news that just came down during that segment about the Saints quarterback position. We'll get to that here in just a second. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by New Orleans Flooring, 2 locations, Metairie and Airline Highway in Prairieville. So, yes, it's New Orleans Flooring, so in the Metairie location. And then Airline Highway in Prairieville, if you're going south on Airline, past the Walmart, it's on the right. You can't miss it. Do you realize, you probably don't because I didn't, when you buy flooring so often, that flooring will pass through 4 different people or units before from the manufacturer, the wholesaler, before it gets to the homeowner. The reason New Orleans Flooring is able to offer you 40% discounts is they cut out the freight. They cut out the middleman. They're going straight to you. They got the inventory in stock. So buy where the pros buy. It's New Orleans Flooring. They got it in stock today, and they can install it tomorrow. The inventory is here. It's at New Orleans Flooring. Check them out. Home builders, property managers, remediation, remodelers, investors, you all need them. NOLAFlooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A little bit of breaking news here as it pertains to NFL free agency. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. Andy Dalton is on the move. This is not in any way unexpected. Of course, the Saints signing Derek Carr and re-signing Jameis Winston. Andy Dalton had been on a one-year deal. Andy Dalton is reaching an agreement with the Carolina Panthers. 2 years, $10 million, $8 million of it fully guaranteed. Max value of the contract is $17 million. So Andy Dalton is staying in the NFC South, but headed to Carolina. Of course, Carolina made waves last week when they traded up with the Chicago Bears for the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Presumably, they will take their franchise quarterback, either Bryce Young, I would assume, or C.J. Stroud. I could be Anthony Richardson. Some of the reports out there that David Tepper, the owner, and Frank Reich have a disagreement about which player they would like to draft. But in any event, it makes a lot of sense if you're Carolina because you get a veteran backup behind your rookie number 1 overall pick, someone that the first overall pick could learn from, how to be a pro, that sort of thing. And if you don't feel like your first round pick, your number 1 overall pick is ready to go be a starter, then you play the veteran until the young guy's ready. We saw Atlanta do that last year with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder. Pretty common thing. But if you're Joe Burrow, if you're Trevor Lawrence, and you're ready to rock, week 1, you roll. Remember Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert sat early. And then help me. I'm blanking. Who was the quarterback that got the injection and they punctured his lung with the Chargers? Do you remember it? Who was it, Paulie?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing that the man had a punctured lung. But remember, Tyrod Taylor was starting for the Chargers, and I think that was week 2. And Herbert was going to come along slowly. Taylor had he had a collapsed lung. I mean, they stuck him in the lung with a needle when he was getting a pain injection. And then Herbert had to start, and he obviously hasn't given up the job. But so the point is, we've seen it go multiple different ways. If you're Carolina, this is your safety net, and what's likely not going to be a great season. However, if Andy Dalton's your starter, or if you're starting a rookie at quarterback, either way, you ain't going to be great this year. So Dalton allows you one of two things: either mentorship for the young quarterback, or an opportunity to go play and have someone who can at least function competently until your rookie is ready to go. So Andy Dalton on the move, 2-year deal there with the Carolina Panthers. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. LSU baseball tonight against UNO. I was hoping the lineup. Has the lineup been posted? I'm not sure if it has yet. No, I've not seen it yet. So we're going to wait and see when they post the lineup, what it looks like for the Tigers tonight. Maybe an opportunity for Jay Johnson to maneuver a little bit with that lineup, to play around a little bit before you start conference play. Or he could do exactly what he did on Sunday and roll out the lineup that it is likely going to be your lineup whenever you go to Texas A&M this weekend, with Trey Morgan back at first, Tommy White back at third, Braden Joubert and Paxton Kling in the outfield for you. Jay Johnson, after the game against Samford on Sunday, did give a little thumbnail preview of tonight's matchup against UNO.
Good job there. I've really enjoyed getting to know him, with his connection here. And they have good players. And just like all these other teams from Louisiana, when they come here, it's a big deal to come here and play. And I like that they're winning. I mean, the scheduling thing comes down to RPI for me. That's the sole purpose of everything that we do. And right now they're in a good spot where that will be beneficial to us. And I like their team. I think they're going to win games going forward also. So we just need to be ourselves, and we need to get some rest tonight. Like, this has been a good stretch of games. So we need to get rest, recovered tomorrow. We'll have a good pre-practice during the game on Tuesday, and then players be themselves.
It's interesting to hear Jay Johnson say we have to get rest. And he's not wrong, because they played 4 games in 4 days from Friday to Monday. And then obviously you had a day off and then came back and played last Tuesday. So it was 5 games in 6 days. You took a couple days off and then played your 3-game weekend series. So you had a very busy stretch there. So I can understand him saying we need to get some rest. The flip side of it is you've played 7 7-inning games. Every game this weekend ended up being a run rule game. So in some respects, you actually need to play to get your bullpen work, because they just haven't gotten the innings. So yes, in some respects, it's been a lot. It's been a grind. On the other hand, you have so vastly outmatched your opponents. You've gotten a lot of guys work. You haven't had to have Brady Neal catch 27 innings on a weekend. You've been able to run Milazzo out there as a defensive replacement in the 4th inning. You've been able to rotate guys for defensive replacements. You've been able to get a lot of guys ABs. So I'm not so sure. Look, he knows his team better. I'm not trying to challenge that. I just think a stretch like the one they just went on certainly could have been more taxing than it was. For me tonight, I am most interested in seeing the pitching staff get work. We are all assuming with Thatcher Hurd going into the weekend rotation that Chase Shores will get the start tonight, although in the release from LSU, they did not list a starting pitcher. Now, Blake Dean was with us in hour 1, and he told us, I wrote it down, the starting lefty, Colton Mercer is the lefty they're starting. I looked up his stats a bit ago. He's got an ERA around 5. He's a transfer, but he's a lefty with a 3-pitch mix. So it'll be a challenge for LSU, which at times has struggled with lefties. So we'll see how the Tigers do tonight offensively. But really what I want to see is Shores get the ball, and then who does he hand it off to, and see how that merry-go-round goes a little bit, to see who they get get in the game tonight to get work. Probably guys that need work after playing so many shortened innings where your bullpen just hasn't had to be heavily relied on. I mean, your starting pitching this past weekend was sensational, and you didn't have to get a lot of innings out of the bullpen, so see who gets that work tonight. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. You can go to the Williamson Eye Center for eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. Remember, you should always have your annual eye exam, so you can schedule that at the Williamson Eye Center. If you do wear contacts or glasses, they have an optical shop in all of their locations, so you can buy your frames, you can buy your contacts at their optical shops. But remember, the Williamson Eye Center, they specialize in state-of-the-art ophthalmology, cutting-edge ophthalmology. If you have a refractive issue, no matter your age or your refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center can help you. They can help you see without contacts or glasses. They did it for me. And they've done it for dozens upon dozens of athletes of all ages and skill levels. I mean, guys like Caleb Von Chasson and Devin White and Warren Morris, Paul Maneri, they can help you as well. The Williamson Eye Center. You want to see without contacts or glasses, there's a way to do it, and Dr. Blake Williamson and the Williamson Eye Center can help. Call 924-2020 for that free consultation. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. All right, it is After Further Review. One other gigantic story that we're keeping an eye on in NFL free agency right now is what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network filed this report just a bit ago with the absolute latest on what's going on there with Rodgers, who apparently has a coin flip decision right now with what he's deciding.
I would say the most important factors at play right now, having discussed with people who are providing scant few details right now, is that it's really about the compensation between the Jets and the Packers and the financial compensation. This is a guy who's got $60 million coming to him this upcoming season. And my understanding coming into the process was that the Jets would be interested in reworking that money some way, somehow, because they weren't quite expecting to take a $60 million hit, nor were many teams other than the Green Bay Packers who had written that contract last year. So I can't say for sure that the Jets have spoken directly to Aaron Rodgers, but I know they've spoken to his camp in the last 24 hours. So, Ian, the communication continues, as does the ride.
So apparently it is either retirement or play for the Jets for Aaron Rodgers. And we'll continue to keep an eye on that as NFL free agency officially begins tomorrow. And all these deals that have been discussed will become final, and I would presume we'll get an answer on the Aaron Rodgers situation. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, our buddy Sean Fazende is going to join us. It has been a busy 36 hours for the New Orleans Saints, from re-signing Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston to seeing their entire defensive line walk out the door. We will reset all of it and look ahead to tomorrow with Sean Fazende when we come back. Stay with us here on AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Another 5-star review for Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. It says everything was seamless and about as easy and stress-free as can be. Darren and his team were accessible for my 1 million questions and guided me every step of the way. They communicated with me every step of the process, made it all very easy to understand, even the marketing approach that Darren and his team took. I appreciate you so much for your kindness and assistance. Another 5-star review for Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. There's a reason Darren James is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America, meaning Darren and his team sell more homes than anyone. So why would you call anyone else? He's got the proven system, and he's got the results. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Go to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Wednesday, free agency. The league year officially begins for the NFL. The tampering period, though, has revealed an awful lot. Our buddy Sean Fazende, Fox 8 in New Orleans, good enough to join us for a few. How are you, man?
Doing all right. Busy day, but we're doing okay. How are you?
Not as busy as you, but I appreciate the time. Sean, walk me through how in the world Jameis Winston ends up back in New Orleans.
Well, that's a great question. And, the Saints made that offer, I guess, last week or when that news leaked, was it Friday, that they were offering a chance to come back at a restructured contract, which is basically a pay cut where you lower your base salary and earn some money back with incentives, but we know he would be the number 2 quarterback. Now, look, this to me feels like a situation where perhaps the market wasn't quite as strong on the outside of New Orleans that maybe they thought. Obviously, at 29 years old, you wouldn't think Jameis is ready to just kind of concede being a backup at this part of his career. But looks like on the surface that the best deal he got was the Saints' 1-year, $4 million contract. And he returns and he made a business decision and the Saints gained some cap space. So it was one of the more unlikely win-win scenarios for the Saints and Jameis Winston, because if you'd have asked me this question a week ago, I would have said there is absolutely no chance Jameis Winston returns, but yet here they are. And I do wonder if the Saints were even a little bit surprised that he came back around and took their offer, especially since obviously the entire organization and locker room and everything else has moved in the direction of for Derek Carr as the franchise quarterback.
Sean, we could say the same about Michael Thomas as well. When they restructured his deal, it certainly appeared as though the end was the end of Thomas's time in New Orleans there. So is it the same situation where it was just a light market for Michael Thomas? I mean, surely he had to have some option out there aside from this 1-year deal with New Orleans.
Yeah, well, he's coming off 3 years of injuries, missed 40 games over the last 3 seasons. So I don't know. He just turned 30 years old. So surely there would have been a team that had some sort of market for his services. The Saints, though, offering that $10 million one-year contract with probably very makeable incentives to get up to that $15 million. And look, when I was at Derek Carr's press conference Saturday. I left with my biggest takeaway. Wasn't thanking Mrs. Benson, wasn't being excited about joining the Saints. It was, my God, there is no way the Saints can move on from Michael Thomas now with the way Derek Carr spoke about him, because I just don't see how it was possible. And when that happened, kind of felt like the wheels were in motion for at least for one season, a Derek Carr, Michael Thomas pairing. And maybe there is genuine excitement on Michael Thomas's part to play with a guy like Derek Carr. I don't know what his market was on the open, on the open market, what he could have gotten. But if he settled in on a one-year, $10 million contract, then again, it could be the same situation like Jameis, where that's the best thing he got. But also, perhaps he's excited to get back with a quarterback he feels like can help him get back to where he was, and the Saints get back to winning with some stability at that position.
Sean Fazende, Fox 8, is with us. So Jameis and Michael Thomas are returning. Let's talk about the guys that are leaving. And boy, it's an exodus defensively. I want to start with Caden Ellis, because it certainly felt, Sean, like he was going to be a major target after the season he had. So how did the Saints let him get away?
Well, on the open market, a guy like that, a young player who really came on strong towards the end of the season. He was second on the team in sacks, Matt. I mean, it was unbelievable. I didn't even realize that until I checked the stats. He came on strong. And there were whispers that the Saints knew once he hit the open market that perhaps he was going to get a little too expensive. And then, look, you saw what the Falcons paid for him. That was probably going to be – the Saints weren't going to come close to that. They have their starters in place, and Mario Davis and Pete Werner. We know Pete Werner has had an injury history, but so has Caden Ellis before this year. So, look, of the ones that have left, I think that one kind of stings the most, because I felt like there really was a ceiling there that was a little bit higher, and he was kind of entering the prime of his career. But, you can't keep everyone, and, they've made some tough decisions in the past. Some are right, some are wrong. I think of Trey Hendrickson as one that, maybe they rethink now, especially since Marcus Davenport, who I'm sure you're going to ask me about, is going elsewhere this offseason. But he's in Atlanta, and the Saints probably may have to add a piece or two at that position, just in terms of depth at the linebacker core.
Well, let's look. Onyemata's in Dallas as well, or in Atlanta as well. Excuse me. Let's talk about Davenport, though, since you bridged it there. I'm not surprised, Sean, that Davenport would leave, especially when we saw some of the projected market value numbers for him, $20 million. I mean, that was absurd to think, and apparently the reality was absurd. He gets a one-year, $13 million deal. Were the Saints not willing to offer him a one-year prove-it deal?
Apparently not, at least not to that extent with the Minnesota Vikings. Again, I guess the market dictates. And look, the Saints had been frustrated with the injuries with him. I mean, every single year it was always potential. At some point, it's got to turn into production. It's a premier position. We know that. And it's a guy they invested heavily in when you talk about, trading up basically 2 first-round picks to go up and get him. And they kept waiting and waiting. Felt like he was getting close, but every time he kind of was getting close to that ceiling or, breaking through, he would get injured again. And look, at the end of the season last year, Carl Granderson, opposite of Cam Jordan, was the best defensive end on the team, opposite of Cam. And, that kind of says something about where they were at that position. In terms of, Peyton Turner's lack of availability / production, and Marcus Davenport's lack of production. So they let a former first-round pick walk to Minnesota on a deal that doesn't seem crazy on the surface, or maybe it does, but all in all, they just chose they're not going to pay him that much, and he's off to Minnesota. It's only a one-year deal, and I guess good luck staying healthy, because it hasn't happened here in New Orleans with him.
Onyemata and Tuttle, a couple of interior guys that are staying in the division as well. Onyemata in Atlanta, Tuttle's going up to Carolina. Reaction there to those guys leaving New Orleans?
Well, it happened within the first, hour of the legal tampering period opening. And, last time I was on your show, Matt, I even asked you live on air if the Saints have a D tackle on their roster. I still don't know if they have one. They have even less now. So, and not completely surprising that both guys would sign elsewhere. It just leaves a massive hole at the defensive tackle position. But, Matt, they weren't paying Onyemata that kind of money, north of 30, and a guy that was been a little up and down since he signed that contract a couple of years ago. He finished strong last year, but he didn't have the totality of the year that they had hoped. And Shai Tuttle's a guy that they, develop from undrafted free agent and, into a decent starting piece of defensive tackle. But I think as a whole, that position underachieved greatly last year. So while they're going to have to stock that room, I don't think it's going to be terribly difficult to match that production from last year to this year, just because I just think overall that group just kind of underachieved a year ago.
Prince Emili is the only.
That's it.
It is
That's the one.
The singular
Right.
only defensive tackle under contract for the Saints. So Sean, the obvious next question is: look, when free agency begins, the Saints are going to have to be spenders, but there's always this question: are you a spender in the first wave, or after the market is set, you spend in the second wave? And a lot of that has to do with your salary cap. And the Saints don't have a lot of space. So what do they do when the shotgun start happens on Wednesday?
Well, you'll see them add a veteran defensive tackle at some point, if not two. One could be a middle tier type free agent. One could be one of those veteran types that are, on kind of the last stop of their career. A guy in-house, Malcolm Roach, is certainly a possibility. He could return. Kentavious Street is another one that could play outside. He could play inside. But at 29, they're sitting in a pretty decent spot to draft a defensive tackle as well. But they've got to stock up. So they're gonna have to add at least four that they don't have right now currently on their roster. Whether or not it's a guy that they had on their roster last year, like in Street or Malcolm Roach, go on the veteran circuit, which I think will happen. I'll just throw a name out there, like Sheldon Rankins, for instance, was available. I don't know if anything's popped since we've been talking on the air, but he's available as well. And then, you look in the draft, pretty decent year for the defensive tackle class. We'll add one. And, back in 2016, Matt, they drafted two defensive tackles, so that's not out of the question as well. But that's going to be the huge position of need for this team going forward. And it's not always the easiest position to find, so they got their work cut out for them.
Is there any other position that, aside defensive tackle, clearly, Sean, they don't have anything. They've got to go address the position. But is there any other position that you look at and say, okay, here is where the immediate glaring need is?
Yeah, running back. Absolutely running back. You don't know what's going to happen with Kamara's potential suspension. They need a running back anyway. You saw how much they missed that veteran or that second back a season ago because Ingram had really fallen off in terms of his production. I wouldn't be shocked if at some point they draft their quote-unquote future Kamara when Kamara eventually, moves on with, potential running back in this class. But they're going to have to add a veteran at some point. And it probably in the mode of more of a physical guy, a la Latavius Murray a couple of years ago. I can give him, 100-plus carries, 100-plus carries, 500, to 600-plus yards on the ground. It could really help their game.
Sean Fazende, Fox 8 on Twitter, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Man, they certainly have a lot of work to do with start of free agency and in the draft. Before you go, I'd love a thought on the NFC South. Anything that any team has done? Obviously we know Carolina's going up to the number one pick, but do you like what any of these teams have done that maybe have positioned themselves?
Well, they all seem to like Saints free agents. We talk about Andy Dalton, the Falcons with Ellis, and David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle to the Panthers. And I could see Carolina being interesting with that number one overall pick, and they got their veteran insurance and Andy Dalton. The Saints certainly have their issues as well, but I still think right now, as I look at it, Matt, I think the Saints should be the favorite to win the NFC South. I'm not sure if you agree with me, but I think the clearest path to the top team in the NFC South goes through New Orleans.
They are the betting favorite right now, Sean, and barring something unforeseen between now and the start of the season, I would agree. But I think the question is, are you just the tallest short kid in that situation? But,
right.
We'll see how the rest of it all plays out. Gets underway in earnest on Wednesday with the start of the league year. He's Sean Fazende. Busy day. Fox 8 in New Orleans. On Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. Thanks as always, man. We appreciate you.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
All right. Be well. Great stuff from Sean. Full, concise breakdown there of what's happened up to this point and what may happen ahead. All right. We're brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's us, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Two things to tell you about primarily. Number one, of course, we had some rain yesterday, but or actually on Sunday, but still to this day, we're still getting Ida claims. If you had or think you might have had damage due to Ida, you got 2 years from the storm to file your claim. So let us come do that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. 318-225-504337. No matter where you are in the state, we got reps near you. So go to the website. All the phone numbers are at the top of the page. So pick the phone number nearest you and call. Or if you'd prefer, you can do the whole thing virtually. Just fill out the contact form on the homepage of the website. We'll get someone out to see you. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Do business from the smallest roof repair to the largest commercial re-roofing job and everything in between. HUDCO does it all. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. All right, been a really good show. We appreciate you for being here with us. My goodness, we've talked a ton of NFL free agency. Thanks to Blake Dean, who was with us in Hour 1. Beth Torina was with us in Hour 2. Lee Feinswog picked Purdue to win the national championship, as is customary that he does every year here. Eventually, he'll be right. And thanks to Sean Fazende, who was just there with us as well. AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Golf.breck.org. I'm excited to tell you about some big-time Breck Golf news that we should be able to tell you within the next month. Excited about that as well. So as the weather gets nice, go swing the sticks, go see our friends at any of the great Breck golf courses around the area. Golf.breck.org. Okay, final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do some Otter locks. The Otter yesterday gave you Memphis laying the 4. We cashed that ticket. Love it. Thank you, Otter. We'll see what he's got for us tonight, and we'll get to a little what we learned as well if we've got time. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Look, there's a little cold snap right now. It always happens in March. It's unmistakable. Ask Muse. He's been going out to the box forever. How many times do you have that 80-degree weekend followed by a 40-degree weekend? Well, every year, and that's this weekend. But it's still a great time to just plant something. Get in the garden and just plant something. Get in your yard and bring that lawn back to life this spring. Maybe your lawn has weeds in it right now. No worries. Clegg's has the weed-killing cocktail. If you're not sure what to do, no worries. They have all the answers at Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They've got rose bushes right now and all the different trees, citrus trees that are perfect to plant this time of year. Get on by and do it at Clegg's Nursery. And their partner with True Value Hardware Store. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in at Clegg's Nursery.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench anytime. Hunt Palmer. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Starting lineup is posted for tonight's ball game, and there are some changes in it. Kling will play in left. Fry gets the start in right. Milazzo gets the start behind the plate. So they'll go Kling, Morgan, Cruz, White, Dugas, Fry, Jones, Thompson, Milazzo with Chase Shores on the bump. So a couple of changes there as LSU final tune-up before the start of conference play Friday in College Station. 6:30 first pitch. We're about 40 minutes away from that right now. Okay, right now, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Outfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good over here at Mike Anderson's. Get ready to head to the Beau Rivage tomorrow.
Okay, the Otter. I'm looking forward to it, man. Get you a Nicholson salad tonight. That's what you should do. Get a Dalrymple salad over there.
A bright side view salad over here.
There's a great salad over there. It's called the Burnside salad. Yes, it's if you ever get a chance, Burnside salad with the blackened shrimp on it. It's magnificent. Try it. Okay, Otter with a winner last night. Memphis minus the 4. Cash that ticket. You love to see it. What we got tonight, man?
Look at it. It's on the move. Check your line right now. It just went from 2.5 to 2. We're trying to get it at 2.5 to buy it to 3. Pitt and Mississippi State 8-10 tip. And that one, I just saw it move to 2 at Bet Rivers. What are you looking at DraftKings right now?
It is 2.5.
Okay. Yep. Divide to 3.
So I'm sorry. So we're taking Pittsburgh plus the 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So taking the Pitt there, and then one NIT game for you tonight. I love these spots where both the teams are fairly equal in the NIT, whether it's from a big school or a small mid-major. And I love the territorial deal, especially little brother against big brother. You got what situation in tonight's Toledo Michigan game? Toledo getting a fair share of points. It's gone down. It's about 6.5, 7 right now, but we're going to take Toledo. So
all right.
6.5, 5 to 7.
I'm looking at 6.
Oh gosh, dog it. She'll take it.
Okay,
she'll take it.
All right, Toledo.
So that's it for tonight. So we've got picks from Paul Stoner, Bruce Marshall on the show. Of course, Matt Human. All 32 first round matchups. He's going to give us his best bets at 6:15 tonight as well.
All right, the Oddfather following us, and then you and Hanny will be at the Beau. Or you'll be there for your show tomorrow, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, I'll be there with my regular guest. Hanny and I team up noon to 1 on Thursday, and then 6 to 8 on Thursday, and then 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday. But tomorrow it's just me, 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay, so Friday is still – you're not at Rufino's on Friday?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, good to know. Noted. All right, Otter, have a great show. We appreciate it. Thanks as always.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, man, we appreciate it. Hey, by the way, if you have not done so yet, please get online to 1045ESPN.com and fill out your bracket. The 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge March Madness Bracket Challenge is live. If you hit a perfect bracket, you win $1 million and a 3-year lease on an Acura. But the first place winner for us here locally wins $2,023. So That's not a perfect bracket. That's just win. You just win the bracket challenge. You win $2,023, which is awesome. I think second place gets a TV. Do you have it in front of you, Muse? Second place is a TV.
No, the copy only had the first place and the Acura.
No, here it is. All right, here it is. It's on the website. Okay. First place, $2,023. Second place, a 75-inch TV and soundbar. Third place, 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage. All of our winners get a swag pack from Coors Light. And oh, by the way, there's a new thing we're doing this year as well, where even if your bracket busts, each round you'll have an opportunity to fill out brackets for that round, and you could win multiple times. If your bracket busts, you can still win round by round. So keep coming back and make sure you go sign up. You're going to fill out a bracket anyway. Play our bracket challenge. 1045ESPN.com, the $1 Million Bracket Challenge, powered by Acura of Baton Rouge. All right, Muse, what'd you learn today?
There's water polo training camp for old people, and Lee Feinswog went.
Oh, my God. What? You know what? As Sheryl Crow said, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
There you go.
Paulie, what did you learn today?
Beth Torina has a sock in her pocket.
She has a sock in her jacket pocket for good luck. It's her daughter's sock. It's so good.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Lee Feinswog. Not a fan of women's basketball. But since we already had a Lee, how about this? Blake Dean thought the punishment to suspend the umpire in the Mississippi Valley game was too harsh. Surprising there. Said it was reactive. All right, Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, 29 offices across 11 different states. No matter where you are near a Michelli office. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online if you want to learn more about all the products and services they offer. You could do it right there at the website. Again, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. I do want to mention that they are looking for technicians. So you can go to the careers page on the website. Michelli is growing, and they need people. So if you're interested in expanding your career or changing your career, Michelli wants to talk to you. Just go to the website, hit the careers tab at the top. Also, they offer ISO 17025 accredited calibration. And if you know what that is, you understand why it's important. And their track system offers 24/7, 365 access, totally free, to all of your calibration certificates. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online, Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And as always, you will never pay over MSRP. We also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great